Toastmaster Club of Bahrain, the Angels Toastmaster Club, a very first, only female club on this island. I am Toastmaster Purvi Shah, Sergeant at Arms of today's meeting. Mission of our club is we provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. There are some ground rules for this meeting so that we all can enjoy our fantastic 5 keynote speakers. During this pandemic, who is our most loyal and consistent friend? Yes, status for some, necessity for others. Can I see your mobile, please? Yes, please this mobile, please keep your friend silent on silent mode. Switch off any noise making devices around you. Mute your microphone while you are not speaking. Please follow meeting etiquettes. If you move here and there, please switch off your cameras. Ladies and gentlemen, let's witness historical celebration of our club's 15th anniversary and 300 meeting. Happy anniversary, angels! Let me welcome very dedicated as Toastmaster, strong as leader, very helpful as president, smart as mentor, champion as speaker, homeopathic doctor by profession. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our vibrant club president, Toastmaster Bijal Karia. Toastmaster Bijal, you are muted.
Toastmaster Bijal, you can unmute yourself.
You're muted.
Yeah, now I am unmuted. Sorry. Region 11 Advisor, DTM Ali Shabas Ali. District 20 Club Growth Director, DTM Khalid Abdullah. Division B Director, DTM Ahmad Asif. District PQD, who has just joined us, DTM Alifia Lakrawala. Area Director, Toastmaster Thomas, Chartered President of Angels Toastmasters Club, DTM Rosaline Roy, my dear fellow angels, and last but not least, the lovely audience who has joined us for our 300 meeting. Good evening to one and all. With pleasure, I commence meeting number 300. The art of communication is the language of leadership, said Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, the founder of Toastmasters International. 19 years back, the #1 club was organized at Santa Ana, California on 22nd October 1924 with a vision to help people to develop their communication and leadership skills. Also, the Federation of Toastmasters Club, under the name Toastmasters International, was formed in the month of October 6 years later. And hence, October is considered to be the founder month or anniversary month. Luckily, October happens to be the anniversary month of Angels Toastmasters Club also. On 2nd October 2005, the idea of Toastmasters Club exclusively for ladies began to blossom in the heart of an eminent leader, DTM Rosalind Roy, and Angels Toastmasters Club was born. It was the first only ladies Toastmasters Club on the island. Angels Toastmasters Club gives women platform to develop and showcase their communication and leadership skills. Women are born with talent, but at times they fail to recognize them. And at Angels, we provide an opportunity to fulfill their dreams. Angels has reflected that commitment and teamwork in every task they have taken up. Be it conducting youth leadership program, speechcraft program, or a huge event like Confluence, Angels has always showed that they are ready to take up any challenge. Today, we have reached a milestone of 300 meetings, and it is our 15th anniversary. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to be a part of the milestone as a president. When we started planning for our virtual celebration, a baby Toastmaster who joined our club just 10 months back agreed to be the chairperson for the event. Initially, let me tell you, she was a bit hesitant. But today I can proudly say that she has truly showed her leadership skills by putting up a magnificent event. She started her journey as a speech crafter, and today she is a part of Angels. She has raised the bar higher for all the angels. Please put your hands together to welcome the chairperson for the event, Toastmaster Nishat Asif.
Thank you, Madam President, for that lovely introduction. Madam President, respected dignitaries, keynote speakers, and my fellow Toastmasters, and our guests, a very good evening. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for our 15th anniversary and 300th meeting celebration event. I'm extremely honored to be the chairperson of this milestone celebration event and very thankful to our President Toastmaster Bijal Karia for giving me this opportunity to prove my leadership skills. Leadership is not a position or title, it's action and example. Under the direction, advice and recommendations of my guidance committee, consisting of our Charter President DTM Rosalind Roy, our VP membership Toastmaster Farida Bai, and VP Education Toastmaster Veena Nagaraj, I started planning for this event. And from a small idea, the event planning got bigger and bigger, and today we are here to witness all the eminent speakers from different parts of the world being a part of our celebration to inspire and motivate all of us. I had a vision and plan for this milestone event, and for the implementation of my plan to be successful, I had my incredible, talented, and hardworking organizing committee, who was there with me all the way, helping to overcome all our obstacles and challenges. All the assistants of the head of education, PR, and entertainment were very new members of Angels Toastmasters Club. But each and every one of them was very committed to the duties given to them and showed great teamwork in sharing the responsibilities. This event planning really got all the senior and new members more connected and closer to each other. Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress. And working together is success. Quoted by Henry Ford. I would like to thank our beloved President Toastmaster Bijal Karia, for her immense support and encouragement, and for her tirelessly working with me every day for the past few weeks. And I would also like to thank my Angels XCOM, my guidance committee, my organizing committee, and the role players today for all your support and teamwork to make this event an enthralling and milestone celebration. I once again welcome all the dignitaries, the keynote speakers, and all the attendees, and thank you all for gracing our event with your presence. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nishat, and wish you all the very best for today's event. Now, we are already late. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our stunning Master of Ceremonies for today's evening. She is a banker by profession and a multi-talented lady. She is a singer, RJ, and most importantly, a dynamic leader. Currently, Area 33 Director and the VP membership of Angels Toastmasters Club. She's also the member of Falcons and St. Paul's Toastmasters Club. Please put your hands together to welcome our beautiful Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Farida Bai.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam President, Toastmaster Bijal Karia, for such a wonderful introduction. Immediate past Region Advisor 11, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali. Our District 20 Director is not here. Our District 20 PQD, DTM Alifia Lakhdawala. District 20 CGD, DTM Khalid Abdullah. Our Division B Director, DTM Muhammad Ahmed Asif. Our Area 15 Director, Toastmaster Thomas. All the dignitaries, keynote speakers, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. A warm good evening to one and all. Today, we are here to celebrate a double milestone, 15th anniversary and 300th meeting of Angels Toastmasters Club. So when the celebration is double, how can you expect only one Master of Ceremony? You're going to witness double firework today. I have a co-MC who is very young, talented, dedicated, committed angel who always believes in celebrating even the smallest moments in her life. So let's welcome our angel Toastmaster Ramya Patil.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Toastmaster Farida. Once again, a warm good evening to all the dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. That was a really good introduction by Toastmaster Farida, which has actually pushed me to raise my standards today. As we know, we are here to celebrate our Angels Double Milestone event. Before that, Farida, have you thought about our today's theme? Connect, collaborate, and celebrate?
Yes, Ramya. I found it very interesting. You know why? It's a big message in just 3 words. We all are connected here due to one big organization, a non-profit organization which helps its members to learn and improve in public speaking and leadership field. Toastmasters International is why we all are connected here.
And the Angels Toastmasters Club, which was founded in 2005 under the efficient leadership of DTM Rosalind Roy, is where we, like-minded ladies, connected with each other.
Farida, you can continue. I guess she has lost connection.
Okay. So under the leadership of DTM Rosalind Roy is where we like-minded ladies connected with each other and have collaborated towards a single goal, our self-development. And today, we are celebrating the achievements together. We welcome you all once again to Angels Celebration Meeting. We have eminent speakers lined up for today's event. So without any further ado, let's move on with our agenda.
We have dignitaries present here, so let's first invite them for their addresses. Our first dignitary is DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali. He is the Director of the Professional Development Unit at the British University of Bahrain. He is a past lecturer at the Bahrain Polytechnic, educator, and an entrepreneur. He led the largest district in the world in 2016 and consisting of 7 countries in the Middle East, which had more than 360 clubs. He is the immediate past Region 11 advisor for Middle East, Africa, and Pakistan. Welcome, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali. The stage is yours.
Thank you, our Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Farida and Toastmaster Ramya. Very happy to be back in Angels. Our District Director, Muhammad Salim, our PQD, Alafia Lakhtawala, and CDD, Khalid Abdullah, addressing our Division Director, Ahmed Asif. I'm sure he's here somewhere. We are too busy looking at Angels, so everything is quite lost here. And then our area director, Thomas, club president, Bijal, founding president, Rosaline, our amazing presenters. I see Paddy Kennedy, my good old friend here. And let me share an open secret. Me and Paddy, we share the same birthday. So, and we celebrate together at times. So it's all correlated. The connect, collaborate, and celebrate in different ways. So to all the the presenters, thanks for coming here to Angels. This is one big family. Since the time I got associated with Angel Toastmasters way back years from now, going there as evaluator, as role player, nothing was impossible ever for Angels. You see, sometimes people do come and ask, how do people get international speakers, the world champion of public speaking? Why Angels does this? Why Sri Lanka Symposium does this? Why we cannot do this? And I just tell them, if you have a will, there is a way. It's not impossible. It's only the matter of planning and working our plan to reach out. That's all what it takes. Sometimes I see very legacy clubs in the Middle East. They think so long to do an event like this. And when it comes to Angels, it's just like those big blockbuster movies. The poster is out, the trailer is out, and then we know, wow, this movie is coming after 4 months. So Angels don't talk, they just go ahead and do it. So that's the beauty about Angels. I'm looking forward for this. I see the red color already. Won't stop you and this amazing blockbuster movie anymore. I'm looking forward for wonderful presenters to perform. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali, for those encouraging words. Let me welcome now our next dignitary. She's a very familiar face in District 20. She has served many leadership roles during the last 8 years of her Toastmaster journey in the club, area, and division. She has received the Best Division Director Award for the year 2017-18. She comes from a service background where she helps people overcome their shortcomings. A physiotherapist by profession who believes in holistic rehabilitation of her patients. She is none other than our charismatic leader, District 20 PQD DTM Alifia Lagdawala. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Area Director 33 Farida, and Toastmaster Ramya. Good evening, District 20 Director, if he's in the house, DTM Muhammad Salim, our immediate past Region 11 Advisor, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali, our Club Growth Director, DTM Khalid Abdullah, Division B Director, DTM Ahmed Asif, Area 15 Director, Toastmaster Thomas. I have seen Area 16 Director, Toastmaster KM Thomas, other dignitaries, the presenters for today, the President of Angels Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Bijal, and the entire ExCom and members and other beautiful members of District 20. Good evening. Well, great milestone, great meeting today. I had communicated to the president that Angels have created a rumble in District 20 with this upcoming meeting today. So I am looking forward to listen to the presenters, listen to the rumbles. One thing I would like to say that there is a quote which goes, behind every successful man, there is a woman. But behind every successful woman, there is a tribe of women who help her rise and take care when she falls back. So ladies, y'all are doing an excellent job in District 20. We all look up to you for the efforts y'all are putting, the events y'all are putting, and making a difference, not only to your members, but other members of District 20 in terms of quality, in terms of education. Keep up the good work. Y'all have got 5 distinguished goals y'all have achieved, and y'all are the recipient of the Speakathon Award. Look forward to many more. Cheers to Angels. Cheers to the 300 meeting and the 15th year. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, DTM Alifia Lakrawala, for those inspiring words. Now let's move on to our next dignitary. What to say about him? He's a member of 3 clubs: Bapco Toastmaster Club, president of Bahrain Advanced Toastmaster Club, and immediate past president of St. Paul's Toastmasters Club. As we all know here in District 20, that his purpose in life is to lead his kids by a good example of a father to be followed. And that's why he is here in Toastmasters. So let's put our hands together for our District 20's own Club Growth Director, DTM Khalid Abdullah. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies, Area 33 Director. Wow, very nice photo. It brings memories as well, that photo. You should have had a Toastmaster, DTM Rosaline next to me as well. Well, let me go very quick to all dignitaries in the house. Good afternoon to one and all. I was told that I have 2 minutes only. And if I start speaking about angels, I would really take 20 or even more minutes. If I want to describe angels in this 300th meeting, I think Angel Toastmaster Club is a school for female. And this is exactly what is happening. I can see the chairperson, Toastmaster Nishat, just almost 1-year-old Toastmaster who is leading this great event. This is exactly what the product of Angels Toastmaster Club. We should really be proud of Angels Toastmaster Club in our district. This reminds me exactly of the confluence. And for those who were there, I can feel it in you. I can see the progress. I can see all of the organization. I can see the perfectionist in all of you angels. I call myself Angels Brothers, and I'm really blessed of having that many sisters and angels. I will not really take long. I just say congratulations for being you, angels, for being the ladies that are known in the district for such a wonderful organization and such big unity. 300 is just a milestone. I'm sure we would meet in the coming milestone of 400, 500, and years to come as well. Wish you all the best, and let's enjoy this beautiful event. And over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, DTM Khalid Abdullah, for those encouraging words as always. Let's move on now to our next dignitary. He has been a Toastmaster since 2015. He has held various positions during his tenure, including VPPR, PPE, and president at club level. He was a winner of the area level table topic session in 2017-18 and the area level humorous speech winner 2018-19. He acts as a mentor and has conducted training programs for the Youth Leadership Program and Speechcraft for the Pakistan School. He is deeply passionate about giving back to society and believes to serve with sacrifice. He is none other than our Division B Director, DTM Mohammad Ahmed Asif. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Master of Ceremonies. Such a wonderful introduction, reminding me so many things back. For today's event, I'm amazed as Division Director who can be more satisfying when you have a club like angels in your division. You have a president like Bijal Kalura, you have Rosalind Rai as the chartered president of it. And whenever Division B feels alone, uh, very honestly looks into angels and find people with, as our Sergeant at Arms said, that angels with unseen wings, but I always say angels with wisdom wings. And we have this wisdom in everything, whatever you do. Thank you very much for being there. And even today, when we are talking about a milestone, celebrating a milestone is not easy unless you get these 3 C's, which are already identified in the theme of this program, like connect, collaborate, and then only you celebrate. This is such an amazing thing. I was just going through each and everything, the contents of it, like the speakers, the contributed leaders of division on the District 20 and division and area levels, not spending time on their names. I know that how contributing they are. It just reminded me one thing, like a few days back, I was just reading a book of one very good author, Rita McKay. And when I was just reading the name, and there was small name, small written TM on top of it. And you know, we Toastmasters, we are always there to see Toastmasters TM on the right side, on the left side of the name. But when it goes on the top of it, it becomes trademark. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the occasion where I see that whatever we learn as Toastmasters, we convert it into a trademark representing this wonderful organization of Toastmasters and pay back. The lineup of today's speakers, they're not Toastmasters, but with their serving hands, the same as the Toastmasters leaders, our own leaders, they have been doing it. So we can just see the combination of these two, Toastmasters and the trademarks. These trademark personalities, I as a division director welcome each and every one of them. And I wish this particular celebration as let's go to have it, to have something take away from it. And I congratulate each and everyone who is organizing. And I congratulate the leadership of District 20. They have put the milestone, the encouragement and showed commitment so that each and everyone participate and contribute in this way. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, DTM Mohammed Ahmed Asif, for such encouraging and enlightening words. Now, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our immediate past District 20 Director, DTM Wafa Salman, with us. Thank you very much for joining us, DTM Wafa. Now we have our next dignitary. He's a member of PGF Toastmasters Club and the Area 15 Director, a dedicated Toastmaster since 2017. He has achieved his ACB and ALB. He's a social worker, marketing specialist, managing own events management consultancy, 21 years in Bahrain with his family. Let's welcome our Area 15 Director, Toastmaster Thomas Thomas. Toastmaster Thomas Thomas.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Dear dignitaries, keynote speakers, and my dear angels and invited guests, a warm good evening to all of you. Today, I was telling CGD that in my area, if angels were not there, no one would know that I am an area director in District 20. So Angels Toastmasters has given me enough chance to be honored as an area director, and I am really connected and collaborated with my own area and each class. When we think about connecting, collaborating, and celebrating, we always think about others. But I take this opportunity to connect and collaborate and celebrate within you. Just wait and look that whether you are breathing or not. Not for 1 minute, not for 30 seconds, and not even for 10 seconds. Just check whether you are breathing. So you will be connected. Why a medical practitioner should tell you? This is what Eckhart Tolle, Thomas Merton, and Richard Rohr says that give a loving, long look at your limbs, whether you are alive or not. So Angels Toastmasters for the past 15 years, in 300 meetings, in every prepared speech, in every evaluation, and every table topics, for each member got a chance to look at themselves, to connect, to collaborate, and to celebrate themselves. So this is the opportunity which Angels has given. So I congratulate the initial founder, president, and ESCOM, and throughout the 15 years, ESCOMs, and the present president, Toastmaster Bijal, and her ESCOM, and all the angels. Congratulations to all of you, and for this success winning story, to connect for 15 years, to collaborate, and let us celebrate it. Back to you, MC.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Thomas for such an encouraging words. Our dignitaries are not over yet, but then we have a long agenda and we are moving on with our keynote speeches. So we all witnessed how we all got connected. Now it's time to see our collaboration. We have reached that part where we are all eagerly waiting for, which I said is the keynote speeches. So without any further delay, let me get started with our first keynote speaker. Our first keynote speaker joined Toastmasters 25 years ago to help his speaking stay on track, stay on time, and eliminate filler words. At that time, he had one wife, one kid, and very few stories to say. 25 years later, he cannot count the ways Toastmasters has helped his presentations in life and work. Today, he still has one wife, but now he has 8 kids, many stories, and many more life lessons. He's a member of Austin Toastmasters and Laughing Matters Toastmasters in Austin, Texas in the United States, and has been blessed to represent his clubs in a contest or two. When not being a dad, he's a partner in a financial firm and speaks frequently to groups on the subjects of leadership, determination, and effective communication in a virtual world. He is the 2020 World Champion of Public Speaking, where he won the contest of Toastmasters' first virtual stage in its history. He's none other than Toastmaster Mike Carr. Audience, meanwhile, you can forward all your questions directly to the host. We'll have 20 minutes of the presentation and 10 minutes of question answer session. So once again, let me welcome Toastmaster Mike Carr with the speech title, The Journey. The Journey, Toastmaster Mike Carr. Toastmaster Mike.
Good morning. And I had a little trouble with my microphone, so can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. I'd like to tell you a little story this morning. And it begins way back over here. We were walking. We were just walking. And I asked, what are you excited about these days? She leaned over and talked to me about the dance that she was doing. And as we walked, she reached out and she took my hand and we were just walking. I said, what are you excited about in those dances and what's coming up? She started to talk about a contest that she was going to enter, and then she started crying. And we were not just walking anymore. My fellow Toastmasters, I was taking a walk around our neighborhood with my babyest girl, Mercy Genevieve. Now, Mercy Genevieve was number 7 of 8, and she never lets her baby brother forget it. She is 4 minutes older than her baby brother, her twin, and she always calls herself the older sister. Whenever we first found out that we were going to have twins, we were getting an ultrasound. And when we saw up on this big screen, the ultrasound, here was baby girl laid out this way. And then all of a sudden, there was another baby in there. His head was on this end and his legs stretched down toward her face. And as she was so quiet and sleeping, he would start pushing his feet up into her face. So 3 years later, 4 years later, even now, 13 years later, whenever we'll hear them arguing around the house, but when they were 3 years old, Mercy would say, Jake, that's her baby brother's name, Jake, you're not playing with me right, and you're not sharing, and when we were in mommy's tummy, you kicked me in the face. And her little brother, Jakin, would look at her and say, Mercy, I already told you it was dark in there. Mercy Genevieve has always been a strong woman. There's some other things about Mercy. Mercy had a stroke when she was born. And so on her left side, that has given her what we call cerebral palsy. Her arm on the left side draws up naturally, more like this. And so if she's trying to make a dance shape, it's hard to get that arm out and around. And her left leg is weak. It's hard to rest on and stand on. And so as she was telling me that she was going to enter this dance contest, this dance competition, she was going to audition for this dance team, I knew that as dancers make a perfect shape like this, it's very, very hard if your arm naturally turns to make that shape. And she was concerned about it. As we're walking around my neighborhood, and she started to cry and said, it's just not fair that something that I want so bad is maybe outside of my control because of something that I can't do anything about. And I'm just listening and I'm praying the entire time. I'm praying to the Creator. I'm praying to the universe. I'm praying to the collective wisdom of humanity. What do I say to my baby girl? Because I don't want to come out and tell her, okay, no, it's just going to be all just fine. Don't worry, everything will work out. The world is so nice to everyone, because that wouldn't serve her very well through her life. But I don't want to squish her dreams either. And so I'm just praying. And as we walk around, all the way around the neighborhood for the 3rd time, and we come back to our driveway, I took her little hands in mine, and I heard myself say, Mercy, I'm sorry, but your life is just going to be harder than your brothers and sisters. I wish I could tell you that was not the case, but it just is. Your brothers and sisters do not have to deal with the things that you have to deal with because of that stroke. And so your life is going to be harder. But you are going to be stronger than your brothers and sisters because of the things you have to work through now. And you will be stronger forevermore the rest of your life. She'd been looking at the ground, and she slowly looked up at me and she said, Daddy, okay. And she went on inside to play. And I was standing there. I was on the verge of tears, trying to hold it back. And then all of a sudden, she's just fine. Well, isn't that nice? A few weeks later, she auditioned for this dance team, and she did not make it. She got cut. As I drove home, I didn't know what I would find when I got there. But as I walked in the front door, there stood Mercy. And she said, Daddy, I failed, but I'm stronger because of it. A lot of people this last 2 months have been asking me, how did you find the courage, or how did you know to go ahead and try something like starting a speech way down here or doing this in front of the camera? How did you know the judges were going to like that? When did you know that that would be a winning speech? And the honest answer I've said over and over again is I didn't. It was just a risk. And people would say, at the biggest stage in Toastmasters, how did you get the courage to take a risk like that? And now you know the backstory is I live with a 13-year-old mentor who takes risks, Mercy Genevieve, who takes risks every day in her world because she doesn't want to limit her life. She gets out there and she tries things because she knows the victory is in the try. The victory is not in the result. And so it was nothing for me to go try something on the Toastmaster stage because it's one speech. This is Mercy's life. And I see her trying every day and pushing her life forward every day. So it was nothing for me to be able to do that. She is one of, in fact, she may be right around here. Mercy, are you here? Can you come here? She is one of the 6 strong women I live with. And she was up this morning and I thought you might like to meet her. Would you like to say hi? This is an all women's club in India. This is my babyest girl, Mercy Genevieve. Hi. So you want to say anything to anybody?
Oh, take risks.
Take risks. All right. Thanks. Good to see you. I'm going to finish my speech now. Thanks for saying hi to my babyest girl. So what that brings me to, I live with 6 very strong women. I married a strong woman. I have 5 strong daughters. So I'm so honored to be able to speak to this great club that for 15 years has been focusing on women and the strength of women. My friends, I want to tell you at this point, women are going to heal our world. I see it happening all the time. I see young women getting PhDs and they are excelling their careers. Whenever I was recruiting, many of the best candidates I would find would be young women who are pushing the bounds of what is possible forward. So I'm so honored to be able to speak to your club and celebrate your longevity and 300th meeting, if I understand correctly. That is amazing. In fact, it was a woman, my wife, who suggested that I might put my thumb over the camera in the World Championship of Public Speaking to simulate the projector going down. So thank you for helping me celebrate those, which brings me to skiing. Taking risks and skiing. Can you raise your hand or put on one of the reactions, anybody who has ever been water skiing or snow skiing? Very, very few. So that brings me to cooking. And I'll just talk about both since we talked about what is skiing. Sorry, is my microphone working? Okay. So what does skiing have to do with the upcoming contest? Let's talk about skiing for just a minute. What skiing is slapping 2 boards to the bottom of your feet and sliding across a surface. If you're water skiing, then you've got those 2 boards slapped and you're holding onto a rope and you're being pulled by a boat. If you're snow skiing, then you're coming downhill and you're sliding as you're having these boards strapped to your feet. So the process idea is the same, but the skill set to be effective in water skiing and snow skiing are very different. It's the same way between in-live presentations and virtual presentations. The basic concept is the same, but the skill set to be effective is different. And that's why I said cooking as well. If you've never skied and you think about if you're making a toasted cheese sandwich, which which is popular in the United States, one toasted cheese sandwich for one child versus serving 8 children or all of their spouses and boyfriends and girlfriends and friends when we might be serving 30 people. Cooking is still cooking, but what you do in order to feed 50 people is very different than what you do to feed one. And so let's talk about some of the differences in our short time together. I've been writing and talking a lot about what do you do in this virtual stage to make it effective and make effective communication. And there are more steps in that than we have time for today. If you want to see those, then glad to send those to you. I'm making those free resources, and I'm putting those, sending videos and suggestions and newsletters out, because a lot of people are trying to do that for the contest, and I'll put that in the chat later if you want to see those. But just a couple of ideas. What's different about this virtual stage that is it's the same concept as live, but it's different in virtual. The first is that if you think about a live event, and whether you have a speaking area, whether it's a big, massive speaking area like the World Championship of Public Speaking, or it's small at a very small club, you have a speaking area. And what makes it interesting is if you visually use that entire speaking area. We don't want to pace, obviously, but if we use it, the movement draws our eyes and it pulls our brain back to that. So the concept is the same in virtual. It's just that my speaking area many times is not as large, but I can have this effect where I'm further back, I'm further up, and you can even see the nuanced changes in my face. We can have an intimate conversation right here where you can't in a live event. But one other thing that is interesting about this is that we can experiment and we can do interesting things. Think about this just for a minute. What if we didn't have this wall behind me? What if we could just make that disappear? And what if a speech could become more virtual? We can't do this in a live speech. We can't do this in live speaking, but what we can do is play with this idea of constantly moving around. I could even move outside. I could, if it were raining, give a speech in the rain, or if I had a place where I could set this on a little table, I could move backward. Oh, you just saw that I'm wearing shorts with my suit. And I could give a speech where I come running forward into the camera. My point being, creativity, using the space, thinking literally out of the box creates a much more interesting perspective than just moving around or having to be stuck in one little place. There's something that I heard myself say to Mark Brown and Darren LaCroix whenever they interviewed me, and that was that experimentation creates epiphany. And they both said, oh, we need to write that down. And I thought, well, that didn't sound too smart to me when I said it, but I guess maybe it is. That's one thing I want to tell you is if we just try something and experiment. This is the first time I've ever tried live going outside. Maybe that worked, maybe that didn't, but it expands what possibly we can do. And so that's the first thing I would tell you that is the same concept between live and virtual, where it's a little bit different, is experiment with the space. And you end up seeing things that you didn't see before. Whenever I ended up starting down here in the corner of the World Championship speech. I wasn't going to do that. It was the day before the speech, the day before the World Championship of Public Speaking. I was just playing, looking at the space, looking at light, and I ended up down here and I thought, that looks like a little kid down in the corner. I thought, I start out as a 6th grader. Why not start right here? The day before I decided to start the speech here. And that's what everybody has talked to me about. And it just came out of experimenting. So experiment with the space. Experimentation creates epiphany. All right. The second and last thing that I'll tell you is the communication ability here. If you're in front of a live audience, think about the live audience. What's one of the best things about live audience? And I'm going to pause, and if you just kind of think for a minute, what are some of your favorite things about being in front of a live audience? Oh, Clarissa, did I hear you say something? Maybe you gave an answer. Most of the time, what I hear or people say, I get the feedback. I can see people. I can see if they're leaning forward. I can see if their eyes are locked on me, or I can see if they're on their phones, if they're looking away, if they're looking off into space, and I can tell what's going on here. The concept of that kind of feedback and that kind of building a rapport, again, is the same as in live, but in virtual, we have to do something a little bit different. And that is to listen to Mr. Miyagi. Now, what does Mr. Miyagi have to do with virtual speaking? Did anybody ever see, again, if you don't mind raising your hand, did you see that movie Karate Kid? Was that just in the US, or anybody else happen to see that? Okay, Karate Kid, I see a thumbs up. Thank you so much. The Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid tells the Karate Kid, you don't punch the board, you punch through the board to the other side. That's how you break a board. You don't try to break the board, you punch through, you punch to something on the other side of the board and punch through the board. That's the concept we have to have with the camera. We have to, in our mind's eye, place someone, if the camera's here, place someone we're talking to on the back side of the camera. In the World Championship speech, at first I started out in my mind's eye talking to my home club, the Austin Toastmasters, because we all, if it's like your club, there are people there you love, there are people there you enjoy. And I started thinking about, they've heard me tell lots of stories. They know I do goofy things like start a speech way down here. They wouldn't be surprised about that at all. And so as I started talking, I visualized them right here. I'm looking at the camera and I'm visualizing them right here, smiling, laughing at me, nodding. We can't see that, and so we have to manufacture that. And then in the time whenever Mrs. Montgomery puts her arm around me and she says, the victory is not in the try. I'm sorry, I messed up my own speech. Mrs. Montgomery said, the victory is not in the result. The victory is in the try. When I say that, I see my daughter Macy's face right here behind the camera. Because what I have said to her and to Mercy time and time again is, give it a shot, give it a try. The victory is not in the result. The victory is in the try. And so when you see someone on the backside of the camera, when you look through the camera to that person, then that's where the emotion of the speech really comes in. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a story, some ideas, play a little bit, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your group. I hope we can connect on all social media channels, and if you go to Mike Carr Official and sign up the email, I'm glad to send you more virtual speaking tips and tricks as we move into contest season. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters, for such a wonderful session. Really, that's great. Now let's go on with the question answer session. We have few questions which has come up. The first question is from our Area 15 Director, Toastmaster Thomas. His question is, so do you say suffering and risk is very necessary for victory?
I see risk as necessary for victory. And again, the way I define victory is the risk is the victory, that the result is not necessarily the victory. Now the results show up sometime, and that's one of the reasons why I continue to talk about this theme. Is there are individuals in this world that they wake up and they say, I want, let's use World Championship of Public Speaking. They start and they say, I want to be world champion of public speaking. I'm going to be world champion of public speaking 2021. And 2021 comes and they don't make it. And then I'm going to be world championship of public speaking 2022. And 2022 comes and goes and they don't make it. I'm going to be world championship of public speaking 2023 and 2024 and 2025 and 2026. There are some rare individuals who are undaunted by that, and they continue to keep moving forward regardless of the failure that happens each time. But those individuals are very, very rare. One of the biggest questions I've had since winning has said, how did you keep going for 25 years? And the way that I kept going was like most people, discouragement and failure hurts. But we have in our ability to be able to create in our minds that failure is also a victory, because we learn from it to launch to the next higher level. And so at some point, I did not have the goal. I quit having a goal of being world champion of public speaking. The goal was just to make the speech increasingly better based on feedback that I've got and trying. And I'm a testament to the fact that if you just keep trying, sometimes the results show up. So I think that the risk is needed for victory, but pain or suffering, it's a close friend of victory, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessary. I hope that answered the question you were asking.
Hope that answers. Yes, he's showing a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Now we have another question from Toastmaster Rajalakshmi. She is asking, what has changed in you and your speeches after winning the World Championship?
I actually, since winning the World Championship, I have been, it's been a good blessing, a good problem, but I've been flooded with contacts, both from Toastmasters and also outside of Toastmasters, from industry, to speak more. And so one of the things is I'm concerned is my speeches and stories may be getting stale, because usually I'm trying new things in the club and I'll come out and I'll try something, and I fail trying something new as much as I succeed. And I've been talking about the same thing now for a couple of months, and I'm concerned that they may be beginning to get stale. So I'm not sure I've seen a lot of change. I would say one thing that has been a big change, and I absolutely love, I have a lot more new friends all around the world. I've got friends now that I speak to in Cameroon and in India and in Singapore and in Europe and other part, and in New York. And so there are some beautiful, wonderful people who are a part of Toastmasters, and those developing relationships, I'd say, probably are the biggest change. But I'll probably be able to answer that question more about speaking maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now. Thank you for asking.
one last question. I was actually thinking that this will be the last, but there's one last question which I felt is very funny, and I should ask you. It is from Toastmaster Tabsum Ali from Kuwait. She is asking, do all men wear shorts for online meetings with jacket and tie?
I don't know about all men. Now, okay, I'll even show you, since I don't even think you saw my footwear. You know, my footwear, I'm wearing flip-flops. So I don't know about all men. This is actually very close to what I wore I wore a tie, but very close to what I wore for the World Championship. I was wearing shorts then also, you just can tell. And part of it was these lights get very hot. And I live in a part of the United States that gets very hot in the summer. So just until recently, it's been pretty hot. So I may going forward start wearing long pants because we're moving into our winter. But but it's a good question. But one of these, I think I've got to, maybe next week, I'll probably change it up and wear a bathing suit as my pants, just because no one will know, and at least I'll be able to say I did it. So just for you, I'll wear a bathing suit next week when I speak.
Thank you so very much, Toastmaster Mike. That was a wonderful session. Thank you so much.
And I'll answer.
Yes,
I'll
you did
answer more
answer.
questions in the chat before I have to go.
Yes, you can just check the chats, because there are many chats which has come in just for you.
Oh, thank you. And
Thank you so
again
much.
for inviting me. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mike Carr, for such an inspiring story. The victory is not in the result, it's in the try. Great message. Your tips on experimenting on virtual sessions is definitely something we must explore. It was definitely an eye-opener. Thank you once again. Now let's move on to our second keynote speaker. She's an associate director of GG Hospital, Fertility Research and Women's Specialty Center, Chennai. She is the daughter of famous yesteryear cine star Padma Shri late Mr. Jamini Ganeshan. After graduating from Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, she completed her DGO and MD from the Madras Medical College, Chennai. She commissioned the first test tube baby of South India in August 1990, and since then has had many achievements to her credit. In 2001, she was awarded a PhD for her thesis on premature ovarian failure and its management. She is currently the president of TAPISAR. She has received many national awards, one of the recent ones being in 2019, the Lakshmi Amal Excellence Award from Bharat University, the Woman of Excellence Award from Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation. She has achieved more than 25,500 babies, mostly delivered through the test tube baby method. Put your hands together for Dr. Kamala Selvaraj. Audience, please forward your questions directly to the Zoom meeting host. Let's welcome Dr. Kamala Selvaraj with her speech titled, Women's Health. The floor is all yours.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you, Nishad Asif, for having invited me to this wonderful meeting here to awaken women of certain issues they want to know about. And I wish Angel Toastmasters Club a happy 15th anniversary and a prosperous year ahead. I hope my talk will be interesting, and I hope you will learn something from my talk, which is totally unconnected from my car. And this was really very interesting. My first slide, please. This is my family, my daughter, who is also a doctor. She does many of the test tube babies and embryo biopsy, my 3 grandchildren who keep me going. Now, woman is a wonderful creation of God. Procreation is possible only through her. She is mentally stronger than a man, though physically weak. She is capable of facing any problems in life and is full of sacrifices, hardworking, and can help to uplift her in her family. Doesn't drunk or get drunk if something goes wrong. Now, women do multitasking. As we all know, she's a daughter, mother, balancing life between in-laws, husband, children, her paternal family, and society. To do this, you need to have a healthy mind, a body which is healthy, which can be achieved by education, which leads to economic independence. Compassion, love, understanding, caring, and sharing is important to keep the family together. And motherhood. Motherhood, something is wonderful, which I experience every day. People who come to me and go back with their children bring a world of change in her life, woman's life. When a woman becomes a mother, her life seems very meaningful and complete. And just a quote I came across day before yesterday in one of the books, where a lady who went to the child said, when each couple come to Gigi and deliver a baby, your parents would become more happy than they were on the day you were born. I was really thrilled to read that. Now, what is infertility? You all know what it is. What is the reason for it? The instance, of course, is in India, it's about overall 9%. Otherwise, 3.5 to 16 in developed nations, 6.9 to 9.3 in less developed nations. On the whole, it is 9%. And the reason for infertility today is late marriages over 30 years, premarital sex and multiple sexual partners, use of intrauterine device for family planning, aborting the first pregnancy. It's very important to terminate, if you have to terminate the first pregnancy, should be done by a proper doctor in a proper environment. Otherwise, it should never be done because it leads to secondary infertility. Now, age, increasing age. Now, many of them marry after 30. I don't understand why, because those days people married very young, and the minute they marry, 9th month, they deliver a child, and then she starts lactating, and before she realizes she's already pregnant, she gets the next baby, again she lactates. So in her whole life till menopause, she should have menstruated about 4 to 6 times, and she will have a dozen baby. But today everything has changed, and age carries many complications like medical complications, diabetes, hypertension, thyroid dysfunction, endometriosis, and fibroids. You can see the fibroid picture over there. And endometriosis, beneath you can see the violet and light color bubble-like structures. Then pelvic inflammatory disease is the whole thing down there in the second slide. Poor ovarian reserve, obesity comes with age, and also poor oocyte quality. Then you get cancer, cervix, uterus, ovaries, and so on and so forth. And causes again is ovulated disorders in female. Nowadays, it's become very common, especially last 5 years. We see that even a younger girl has very little amount of oocytes in her ovaries, and the response to hyperstimulation is very poor. So aging causes diminished ovarian reserve. It causes also premature ovarian failure, and you have endocrine disorders of recent due to stress, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And the tubal causes is pelvic inflammatory disease. The tubes get blocked, and previous ectopic pregnancy, the tube gets removed, and therefore, and tubal infection gathering fluid, like you can see in the lower slide, salpingectomy we do for hydrosalpinx. Male infertility also exists from no count to non-motile sperms and low count. These are just, I'll just run through the slides. Advancing paternal age, smoking, drinking, clothing, hot nylon underwears, cell phone usage, computer usage, extreme regular exercise, environmental pesticides in farmers, stress, congenital bilateral absent vas deferens, impotence and ejaculated dysfunction, idiopathic infections, obesity, drug abuse, diabetes, hyperthyroid, hyperprolactinemia, hypertension, hydrocele, hernia, varicocele, spinal cord injury, chromosomal abnormalities, and also sperm antibodies. There are more and more coming up like this. Here you can see some of the sperms which are agglutinated together because of presence of anti-sperm antibody. They just come together and they do not move. That is one of the reasons of infertility. Here you can see them freely moving over. These are also healthy looking sperms. Now that is about infertility. Any questions can be asked later. Now coming to perimenopause. All this is not avoidable. It comes around about 40 to 45 years of age. Perimenopause is the time just before we attain menopause. The signs and symptoms are high irritability, mood changes, forgetfulness, vasomotor changes, hot flushes, genitourinary symptoms, menstrual disorders. The above symptoms are due to estrogen deficiency, the flushing and palpitation and irritability, forgetfulness and everything. Now, menopause comes around 48 to 52 years following perimenopause. This depends upon the health, climate, environment, and also hereditary factors. The changes in menstrual, how the menopause comes, how does it stop in various patterns? Sometimes it just suddenly doesn't come. That's all, it stops. And sometimes you have scanty flow every month, then finally it stops. Otherwise, bleeding gets delayed, 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then stops. Some patients have heavy bleeding, does not stop at all. Then they have to go for hysterectomy. They have some pathology in the uterus. If there is no menstruation for 6 months to 1 year, the woman can be taken for granted that she has attained menopause. Menopause indicates the end of fertile period, definitely not the end of your life. Signs and symptoms of menopause. You have short-term sequelae and long-term. You have vasomotor hot flushes, excessive sweating, sleeplessness, palpitation, and headache. Psychological irritability, lethargy, emotional liability, anxiety, mood depression, and forgetfulness. Now, then you have urogenital vaginal dryness, loss of libido, dyspareunia, itching in the vagina, urethral syndrome, shrinkage of genital organs, skin dryness, dry hair, brittle nails. Long-term sequelae goes to osteoporosis and cardiovascular diseases. Now, what is the treatment for menopause? You have non-hormonal and you have hormonal also. The best is to take natural supplements that contains estrogen in natural food. As you can see asparagus and oranges and tomatoes and blueberries and garlic, dates, and so many things, broccoli, and also walnuts, some of the cereals, almonds, everything. What all you see over here, everything has got something with estrogen, and it has got its antioxidants also, antioxidant properties too. Here, these are the ones. Fruits has got major antioxidants like beta carotene, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, copper, zinc, and selenium. That is our requirements per day. And the things that contain it: fruits, vegetables, potatoes, cereals, vegetable and fruit juices, tea, coffee, and wine and beer. Osteoporosis treatment, usually supplementation of dietary calcium and vitamin D, as well as weight-bearing exercises to keep your bones strong for the upper body, have been shown to slow down bone loss. Use of supplementary estrogen in a very small dose reduces the risk of certain fractures, because if a menopausal lady falls and supports with one hand, all the bones from the fingers to the shoulder joint cracks. So we have to be very careful while walking. And also the use of extra estrogen, if you take, it leads to cancer and heart disease. Natural food containing calcium like dark green leafy vegetables, broccoli, almonds, and dairy products are very good. Daily requirement when you attain menopause is about 1,500 milligram of calcium. Cancer screening is important for everybody, especially from 30, 40 onwards. You have to check for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, endometrium, and also cervical cancer. Metabolic risks are associated with it: obesity, diabetes, hypertension, hyperthyroid. And for breast, self-examination of breast is very important. Every child, even from the age of 16 onwards, when they take bath, they should learn to massage the breast and see for any lumps while taking bath, which is very important, because 100% all the cancers are curable while diagnosed early and treated properly. Breast cancer, most common cancer among women worldwide. History of breast cancer, especially, the mother has breast cancer. If there's 3 daughters, I've seen all the 3 daughters getting breast cancer. So self-examination is the first important test for every woman, and she takes box every day to examine the breast. Any palpable mass, immediately to consult a surgeon. And then you have to be followed by mammography and ultrasonography of the breast. And invariably, from after 30, 35 age, you have to start doing mammography. Cervical cancer, most common cancer in female in India. Worldwide, second most common in female. 4.9 lakhs women are diagnosed with cervical cancer in a year, and 2.4 thousand women die of cervical cancer in a year. New cervical cancer is diagnosed every year in India, 1.32 lakhs. Deaths due to cervical cancer every year is about 74,000. India contributes to 27% of world's annual new cervical cancer. Actually, this is very easy to diagnose and to treat, and the total mortality can be brought down. That is lack of awareness. We need to do a lot of camping and bring more and more of awareness to prevent this from happening. Causes of cervical cancer: sex at early age, multiple sexual partners, history of postcoital bleeding, false smelling discharge, chronic cervicitis. To diagnose, we take the pap smear and also cervical biopsy. And examining gynecologist should immediately refer to an oncologist. Ovarian cancer incidence is 1 in 60. Bearing children and use of birth control pills both reduce the likelihood of ovarian cancer because they reduce the number of ovulations. And in 10% of women with ovarian cancer, it is hereditary. Prophylactic removal of ovaries in high-risk women may greatly reduce the risk of ovarian cancer. And cancer treatment: screening and early diagnosis is the key to successful treatment. In early stages, surgical management is the best. Sometimes it is combined with chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Any cancer diagnosed at early stage can be treated to about 100%, and the lady can have a normal life. To conclude, a woman can enjoy her life at any age, provided she accepts and ages gracefully. Menopause is physiological, and the blues of menopause can be overcome by modifying your lifestyle and setting new goals. Life is a gift of God, so enjoy every day to its fullest. Thank you for inviting me, and ready for the end of the session. Anybody wants to ask questions? I'm there.
Thank you, Dr. Kamala Selvaraj, for that wonderfully informative session. We have a few questions. I'll first start by asking you the first one, which says, embryo transfers don't have 100% success rate. What are the reasons which cause embryo transfer failure?
See, when we say embryo transfer, embryo which is not biopsy, there are 100 embryos kept. We don't know which one of the embryo which go to make the baby, which is a dummy egg, which is a real baby making egg. That many of them don't know. It's like naturally, physiologically, when an egg is liberated from the lady's body, thousands of eggs come running forward, and the fittest that can make the baby is liberated. Therefore, a lady who gets married, who doesn't family plan, delivers a healthy baby at the end of 9 months. But when we stimulate an ovary, we give injections and multiple eggs are formed. Not all those eggs make a baby, but they make an embryo. So when we put it, whether this is the embryo that is going to make the baby, we don't know. But if a person is very particular, she wants to know, she wants to have embryo biopsy, she has had multiple failure, or she has multiple abnormal babies, we do embryo biopsy for them, but we advise also about having the embryo biopsy, and then we choose the best of the embryo and implant it, and 99.9% she gets pregnant with that.
Thank you, doctor. The next question is, does early menopause lead to high triglyceride?
It is just like, yes, it does. It does. Because you're getting high triglycerides at earlier age, and menopause is set up protection for us in certain ways because you have certain amount of estrogen in our body. So that prevents all the calamities, and the lack of estrogen has got certain side effects, and it can lead to high triglycerides. But of course, everything can be controlled with your diet.
Okay. The next question is, how effective is the cervical cancer vaccine?
Well, actually, you mean about the Gardasil. It is
HPV vaccine.
Hey,
Human papilloma.
Papillomavirus or Gardasil. Human papilloma virus, you mean? At one time it was like a rave and everybody talked about it. And then stray instances of some calamities and some death we stopped. But government hospitals, some of them are still giving for some of the patients, but we private practitioners stopped using it. It is effective, no doubt, but we are scared to use it.
Okay.
It is especially for people who have early sex, and you take a smear and do, and there are varieties of those bacteria that causes the virus that causes it. And people who ask for it are always given in certain clinics in our place, in my place, but we don't use it.
Oh, okay. Okay, the next question is a little long message. I hope I'm reading it right. So, doctor, can you give me advice if I need surgery to remove my uterus? My scan shows uterus is anteverted and measures 102 into 82 into 72 mm, appears bulky, shows multiple fibroids measuring 35 into 34 mm and 14 into 17 mm in the anterior myometrial wall, and 35 into 38 mm and 32 into 36 mm in the posterior myometrial wall with indentation on the endometrial cavity. Endometrial thickness is 8 mm.
So age of the patient, age of the person.
Oh, it's not mentioned.
And a child, has she finished her family?
So that has not been mentioned yet.
Because if this lady has finished, 43, she's completed her family, means I would say just remove the uterus. There's no second thought about it. Because childbearing is 40 to 42 within that. And if she's not married and she doesn't want a child, 100% there's any diseased organ has to grow. She has to go for hysterectomy. With bilateral oophorectomy, even the ovary should be removed. So there's a chance for cancer later.
Okay. Okay, the next question is it difficult for a lady over 45 to bear a child? What are the complications for a lady who gets pregnant through IVF later than 45 years?
See, 45 years, she already has a very poor ovarian reserve. The chance of her getting pregnant itself is very scarce, remote. And whether the child will be healthy, she needs to have a biopsy done to prove that the child is normal. And otherwise there's no problem. The thing is, anybody above 30, 35 gets pregnant, they become a diabetic, gestational diabetic, and or hypertensive also. And an lady at 45 years might have hypertension, might have diabetes, might have thyroid. And whether she has her own eggs or not, we don't know. There are so many complications in that involved. Whether she's going to have Down program, then she can have if she wants to have.
Right.
She can. She definitely. She may not have eggs at all at 45, 47. No, and 100% she'll become diabetic and hypertensive, and it'll be a donor egg.
Okay.
But she can get pregnant.
It is possible. Okay. So what does it mean when doctor, you say that the uterus is low or down, and why does it happen?
Low down means there is descent of the uterus, like the bladder, rectocele, urethrocoele, like that. When you have, those days we used to have the delivery, forceful delivery, forceps delivery, we pull. So we have a levator ani, we have a stage like that is very strong, protecting the uterus from descending down. But people who have normal 2, 3, 4 deliveries, the uterus descends, the cystocele, the bladder also bulges, and the uterus comes from its level, we say degree 1, 2, 3. Then even sometimes full uterus might prolapse. But nowadays, all this is totally gone because most of them go for cesarean section. And when they do, no more forceps are there. Therefore, this is very less. And the pelvic muscle floor is weak, this happens. Or you strain at stools, or you have chronic cough, such things, or you'll be carrying heavy weights, then it can have mild descent.
Okay. Another question, the next question is, if I had 4 miscarriages, does it affect the life in old age?
No. No. But I hope she has a healthy living baby now. Previous abortions does not affect. No.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kamla. Your session was very informative, and we would now like to move on to our next speaker. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I would like to now call our next dignitary, who needs no introduction. She is the angel, the reason we are connected today. She was the charter president of the Angels Toastmasters Club. She is the past Division C governor, past District 20 admin manager, the current vice president of DTAC 2021, the vice chairman of the Bahrain Gavel Club Council, and a counselor for the Rising Stars Gavel Club. She strongly believes in the yes, I can attitude, which makes her challenges the challenges in life. She serves the community through her active involvement in the ICRF community services as a core committee member. She's the pride of the angels. DTM Rosalind Roy Charlie. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramya, for that wonderful introduction. Success is a journey and never a destination. Respected region, immediate past Region 11 Advisor, District 20 Director, PQD, CGD, Division and Area Directors, ExCom members, Organizing Committee members, fellow angels, and distinguished guests, especially our stars of today's evening, the eminent speakers. Good evening. We are not a team because we work together. We are a team because we respect, trust, and care for each other. This is what my leadership journey taught me after being the charter president of Angels Toastmasters Club in 2005. Angels Toastmasters Club had celebrated many achievements and overcome challenges also, especially in membership, when our membership drastically reduced. But the commitment and the dedication of the past ExCom members and the members made them reach this milestone of 15th anniversary, the 300th meeting. I always believed in yes, I can attitude, which made me accept challenges and positively look into it in my leadership journey. And it was the same attitude that has been instilled in every member of our club. And this is what has made us achieve President Distinguished Club status almost every year, the growth of the champion speakers representing our club up to the district level. We have produced events like Confluence, annual youth leadership programs. We also have the speechcraft programs, and we also take up leadership roles like in the area contest, in the division contest, and the district events. I stand in with immense pride, I should say, as a mentor of this club. And I would like to extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to all the past ExCom members, the current ExCom members, and to my dear angels for this achievement. Angels, remember, this is just the beginning. Many more achievements and milestones are yet to come. So participate, share, and grow together as one family so that you could reach the pinnacle of success. So always stay connected, collaborate, and celebrate. God bless one and all, and over to the Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Rosalind ma'am. You became a bit emotional in your speech. Thanks a lot. Now, let's move on with our keynote speeches. What should I say about our next keynote speaker?
कभी तू नजर मिलाओ, कभी तो करीब आओ, कभी तो नजर मिलाओ, कभी तो करीब आओ.
So today she is near us. She is the only Indian supermodel actor with a medical and psychologist qualification. She, in a true sense, is beauty with brains, a title given to her by Business Today and other leading publications. She has won accolades such as Gladrax Supermodel. She has acted in multiple Bollywood and Telugu films. Delving into health and wellness, she currently also practices as a certified psychologist cum counselor and mentors corporates with transformational workshops to help all leading meaningful and fulfilling lives. She has just launched a 21-day holistic wellness program for weight loss, toning, and mental well-being. Let's welcome Dr. Aditi Govitrikar. Audience, hi. Audience, meanwhile, you can just forward all your questions to our host. So once again, let me welcome Dr. Aditi Govitrikar with her speech title, Holistic Approach to Wellness. Holistic Approach to Wellness, Dr. Aditi Govitrikar. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Farida. That was really kind of you. And thank you, Angels Toastmasters Club, for inviting me. Special thank you to Bijal for having coordinated with my team and inviting me for this wonderful session. I'm saying wonderful because I heard the earlier speaker, and that was really, really nice, Dr. Kamla. It was really enlightening. It took me back to the days when I was doing my Gynec. So firstly, I want to start the session with everybody standing up and stretching. Can we do that? All 47 people, I want you to stand and just stretch as much as you can. Just twist, rotate your shoulders, and then you can settle down once again. Now, why did I make you do this? Is because I want you to pay attention to whatever I'm saying. What happens is, because you guys have been sitting for some time, the brain is such an organ that it needs a little bit of oxygen every now and then. It needs a little bit of change of scene so that you become refreshed. And I'll talk a little bit about it a little later once I describe what I'm going to share with you guys, which is something that I call 8 infinite. So 8 infinite are these pillars of well-being. Each pillar we need to pay attention to it every single day. And if you hear the pillars, you will know that there are certain pillars which you are fine. You've focused on it, you've taken care of it. So that's a sturdy pillar. And there are some pillars which are pretty much very thin, and you need to kind of, concretize it, make it a little more stronger. And my endeavor is so that you start paying attention to not only the strong pillars and maintain that, but also to the weak ones. Yeah. So what are these 8 pillars of well-being? These are emotional. And I mentioned emotional as number 1 because we human beings are conditioned in such a way that we are not even aware how we feel. If you go to a party and you ask somebody, so how are you? What is the typical answer? Oh, I'm fine. Now, I did this experiment when I went to a few parties. I used to, when people used to say, how are you? I used to say, not so good. Nice. And they used to move on. So we are not attuned to our emotions. We don't hear other people's feelings or words or emotions. And we ourselves, like if I ask right now, how are you feeling in an emotion word, you'll have to think. And another example of that is, as children, when we fall down, what does everybody around us say? Arey beta, it's okay, get up, stand up, just dust your backside and go and play. It's okay. It won't hurt. But it is hurting. It hurts very badly when you fall down and, a little bit of scratches there or whatever, and your ego is hurt as well, right? So we are not even allowed to feel the pain. We are asked to dust it aside brush it under the carpet and move on with life. So what is very crucial now, especially now, given the situation, is that we need to start acknowledging how we feel. What is the emotion in the moment? And it changes every now and then, right? Like, for example, if my talk goes well, I'm going to be feeling very happy when I go for dinner. If it doesn't go well, and if you guys don't ask me questions, I'm going to be very sad, right? So very important for us to acknowledge how we are feeling. And why is this important? Because again, when you ask somebody, what is it that you want in life? The answer is always, oh, I want to be happy. Yeah, sure, you want to be happy, but also know that when you're going through something that is untowards that happens, an event which is not really a positive event, you want to feel that emotion as richly and as deeply so that you can heal. So grief, any kind of problems in relationships or anything that is negative in life, you need to acknowledge it. You need to feel it. Even if it is sadness, if you cry, that's very cathartic. But we don't do that. We just brush it aside and say, let's move on with life. Let's get on with life. So very crucial to look at your emotional well-being. Yeah. The next one is social. Now, why do I mention social as number 2? Because I keep changing the importance of each depending on how the situation is. And that's the whole purpose, that in your life, you will decide which is number 1, which is number 2, and which is number 3, and so on and so forth. So today, especially now, given that we spend so much time on screen, it's become very crucial to stay connected with other human beings. Very, very crucial. So schedule in these kind of meetings, meet different people, interact with people, very, very crucial. And when, of course, when this COVID situation gets sorted, hopefully soon, make sure that you have that connection with your friends, with your family. So as a rule in 21-day program, what I speak about is that make a list of people whom to call. You can even get connected with people who are from your school, right? It's a great connect. Just call and find out how they're doing, where they are. And it's easy now to connect with people, right? So social support will protect you. It's like your shield so that you don't suffer from loneliness, from anxiety, from stress, and all these mental disorders, which are now, they become so common. It's almost scary. It's almost an epidemic. So protect yourself and inculcate these habits in your family members as well. Okay, so that is the social well-being. Now, the next one is spiritual. Spiritual, I like to say that it is not religious. So if you're religious, that's great. It's faith, it's belief, go ahead and do it. But spirituality, according to me, what I mean when I say spiritual is connecting with self, with yourself. If you see today, we all are so addicted to our gadgets, to social media, that when I ask my clients, I say, okay, you've got to schedule in me time. And the person says, yeah, I spend enough time with myself. I said, okay, what do you do? Oh, I browse, I go on Facebook and I go on Instagram, and nothing wrong, right? It's a great, again, connecting medium. However, that is not me time. Me time is being with yourself. And the experiment has shown, they have done this experiment where people 10 years back were very comfortable sitting with themselves for 15, 16 minutes. Now at 7 or 8 minutes, they start becoming very restless. That's how it's shortened, the time that you can be with yourself. So it could be closing your eyes and just sitting for 5 minutes, for example, or 10 minutes, for example, or staring into nature, or just walking, or any activity where there is no distraction. There is no screen. The other people are not there. It is just you, yourself. So it's deep connection with self. So that is spirituality. Intellectual is the next one. Now, many people ask me that, at this age, why are you going back and studying? Now I'm doing my second master's from Harvard. It is really difficult, but I've said to myself that this is going to be my gift for myself 2 years from now. So I still have a gap of 2 years. When I've finished like 8 modules, I still have to go through 4 more modules. So even my children say that, Mama, if you want to give exam, give ours. Why are you giving your own, right? But for me, what is crucial is that the brain, now the myth is that intellect cannot grow. And that is not true. If you feed your brain with good food, and I don't mean this food, but where you're learning something new, you're doing something different every single day, your intellect can increase. That's neuroplasticity. And it's now proven that you can do that. So every single day, what are you doing so that your brain is getting that stimulation? A very simple example is if you want to do it, and it's not like you have to go and give exams. It's not like you have to enroll into college. That's not what I mean at all. Of course, it's great if you do, but that is not what I mean. What I mean is that if you are a right-handed person, go brush your teeth tonight with left hand. See how weird it feels. But you will also realize that by doing so, by using your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth, you will start paying more attention to your brushing because your mind needs to focus. And that is what I mean, that your mind starts focusing. It starts connecting the new neurons, the pathways. There are new connections which are made, which is extremely good for your brain. All right. Now, physical well-being, everybody's into it. Everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody wants to tone. There are few clients of mine who want to gain weight, but generally it is about, you want to lose weight, or you want to put on muscle, or you want to tone up. So physical well-being, all of us are extremely aware of. We all know that it's something that we need to do, but we actually don't do it because inherently human beings are lazy, right? That's why we have so many remotes and we don't want to walk around and we just take the car or whatever, right? So put it into action. The best way, and I say this because we sit for very long, and that has become a habit and we are not meant to. So every 20-25 minutes, if you are doing intense work, just stand up and stretch. Walk around for 5 minutes. Go to the kitchen and get a glass of water. Drink that. Go and have a conversation with somebody. So for 5 minutes, after every 20 to 25 minutes, just get up and stand and walk around. Because remember, sitting is the new smoking. There are way too many illnesses, diseases, and so on and so forth that's connected with sitting. Very simple thing, but we don't pay attention to these small things. Yeah. So just go ahead and do that. Okay. So that is physical well-being. We all are aware, but now it's the time to start putting into action. Just for 10 minutes, if you work out, do something strenuous just for 10 minutes. So even if you sit on the wall, without a chair, so your back is against the wall, your feet, your thighs are parallel to the floor and right angle with your knees. So if you sit like this against the wall taking support, and don't use hands to support your legs or whatever, just try to sit for 1 minute every day. It's a great way to tone your legs. All right. And if you become senior, if you practice a little more, then you can even place your arms on the side or straight up, and that will give you your arms will start getting toned. And this this activity we hardly do in day-to-day basis. You're carrying things, you're using your legs, but you never do overhead activity, which causes a lot of issues later on in life, right? Whether it's your shoulders, whether it's your neck, whether it's your back, all those issues start coming into the picture. Do push-ups with your knees. You don't have to do straight push-ups in the beginning. You can go on your knees and do push-ups. You can do something which is called jumping jacks if you're fine, right? So you jump, you hop, and you just do this with your arms. Okay, so simple exercises. If you live on first floor, second floor, third floor, don't take the lift. Use the staircase to go up and down. That again will add to your physical well-being. Little activities throughout the day is a great way to remain fit. So yes, going to the gym is great. It's great to work out for 1 hour every day, right? 5 to 6 times a week. But if you can't manage that, at least keep active throughout the day. And that's going to add up. Yeah. The next one is environmental. Now, what I mean by environment is, yes, we will take care of our house. We take care of our little garden if you have a garden outside. But generally, we are not that environmental friendly. The amount of plastic that we use, the amount of things, just generally things that we use in the house, it's all adding up. And also clutter causes a lot of issues. So you know that when you clean the house, when you clean the kitchen, it feels so good, right? So that is the environmental well-being. Financial is the next one. Financial is obviously not, I don't mean by, okay, you invest in stocks or real estate or gold or whatever. That is all, you guys know it. I'm not talking about that. What I mean by financial well-being is that look at money with the context of that having certain money, having plans where finances are concerned is going to give me freedom to do what I want to do. That is a very crucial point which most of us miss. We run after money, we want to work, we want to save, we want to do all that, but is it at the cost of your freedom? Because it should give you that freedom. If today I want to pack my bags and I want to go, say, to Dubai or wherever, I should have that freedom. I should not be tied down because of the work I'm doing or because of my financials, that, oh no, I cannot not work because of whatever. Right? So that becomes a very crucial aspect, that are you using the money to really enjoy life the way it's meant to? Because life, like Dr. Kamla said, that life is beautiful. So why are we not enjoying ourselves? So that becomes the focus of financial well-being, looking at financial. And last but not the least, the nutritional well-being. Again, so what I say is that we are what we eat and we are what we think. Now think about this. Isn't this true? Who are we? What are we? We are pretty much, our body is regenerating every single day, and it needs the raw material, right? That comes from your food. It comes from the air that you're breathing. It's the food that lets you be who you are, right? And why did I say that we are what we think? Now, I might be eating the best food that's available on the planet, but if I am stressed out, if I'm anxious, I'm not going to have a glow on my face. I'm not going to look my best. And stress, everybody knows it's connected to, it is related to so many illnesses, all the lifestyle illnesses that are on a rise. Again, to almost to an epidemic level. It is all because of this. It's because of stress. Yeah. So I don't know how much time I have. Can somebody tell me how much time I have, or am I done? I can go on.
5 more minutes.
Sorry?
Yeah, 5 more minutes.
I have 5 more minutes. Okay, excellent. So basically pay attention to what you're thinking. Now, thoughts, action, and behavior, it forms a triangle, right? Thoughts, action, and behavior. The best way to start transforming your life is to change your thoughts, but it is the most difficult. It's not impossible. It takes work, but that's the best way to do it. So changing your thoughts is something that we should work on. Now, a human being typically thinks of around 60,000 thoughts every day. Now, out of that, 85% are repeated the next day. And predominantly, a large majority of our thoughts are negative. Now, think about how much negativity we fill ourselves with, which is also why the news, your newspaper, everything is filled with negativity. Nobody wants to read positive things. Nobody is interested in it, right? That's because we have a propensity towards negativity, but we can change it because we all have the superpower to do so. Our brain is so well developed, especially the frontal part, right? Which is your decision-making brain, your analytical brain. That is so well developed that we can take it in our hands. It's all about being aware .
Dr. Aditi, I think we lost her.
Dr. Aditi.
I think she is stuck up. Her connection is.
I guess she is.
Oops, what?
Okay.
She's back.
Yeah.
She's back.
You're back.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. Sorry about that. Yeah, so be very mindful of doing this, of changing your thoughts. If that is difficult, then you can look at your actions and your behavior. That also, so CBT, something, if you guys know, it's cognitive behavior therapy, which because people find it easier to kind of change the behavior, because of which your thoughts and your emotions also change and your actions also change. To give a quick example, if I am feeling low, right, my body language will be, my shoulders will be down, I'll be looking down, I'll have a frown on my face. Now cognitive, just to illustrate, right, I fake it, right, I fake it and I say, no, I'm happy, and I do a few jumping jacks and I'm like, yeah, of course inside I'm crying because something has happened, but that automatically releases certain hormones, the happy hormones, because the mind does not know a difference between fake smile and real smile. Yeah, so fake it till you make it, pretty much do that, so that the hormones are released and automatically you start feeling better. Now, if you're feeling low and if you just roll back your shoulders so that this bone, the sternum bone, is facing the roof, the ceiling, automatically this action itself will help you change your physiology. Your tongue, if it's stuck to the palate, right now also you can see, release that. The tongue, if it is relaxed in your lower jaw, immediately reduces the stress. So whenever you're stressed, just observe, your tongue will be stuck up. So relax it. Yeah. Okay. So these are a few tips. Of course, like Farida had said, that I have launched my 21-day transformation, where I take people through this whole journey of transformation and whatever pillar you're fighting with, right? I mean, we all have certain pillars that we need to look at. And when you strengthen all the pillars, life changes. And that's the work that I have been doing. Having said that, once again, thank you so much for having me, and heartful great gratitude for listening to me so patiently. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aditi. Now we have received few questions.
Sure.
The first question is from a Toastmaster. She wants to know your routine of exercise and diet.
Okay, so the first thing that I get up and do when I sit up from my bed is I fold my hands and I express gratitude. That's a practice which I have inculcated, and I can, if I don't find anything at all, like sometimes the days are not that great, right? And you're like, what is there to be thankful for? This used to happen to me when I started the practice, like that I can't find anything to be grateful for. Then I used to thank my lungs that, okay, I'm breathing, I am fit, I am healthy. So that is the first thing that I do, is to express gratitude towards whatever. Then I set intention for the day. For example, today my intention was that my talk here should go smoothly and people should, I like to use these 3 words: empower, elevate, transform. So whoever I come in touch with, I want to do these things. So it could be anybody at all. So that was my intention for the day, that today's talk should go well, that I touch people's lives in such a way that there's a takeaway from the talk. It's not just a feel good thing, but they start implementing something that I have shared. So that's intention for the day. Then pretty much my breakfast and all those routines. Now diet is, I'm vegetarian, so I eat vegetarian food. I eat ghar ka khana. I don't believe in not eating, so I eat properly. I'm never starving myself. And workout varies. It depends on, like now in this whole lockdown situation, I used to find different workouts on YouTube, or I just used to do something that took my fancy. That's the general routine. And I meditate every day. I meditate every day. That's again part of my routine.
Okay. Now the second question is how to control back pain holistically.
Okay, so now one thing which one needs to, now I'm combining my knowledge of medicine, because of being a qualified doctor, and the spiritual angle and the psychological angle, right? I'm combining these 3 to say that first and foremost, rule out if there is any medical issue. If there is a medical issue, then sort it out. So organically, just find out if there is something wrong, get rid of it. A lot of times, most of us store stress in our body. And the common points in most people's lives are your shoulders, your lower back, your lower abdomen. A lot of us hold a lot of stress and emotions in your lower stomach. So relaxing the lower stomach every now and then, your lower abdomen helps. So is the back pain because of any stressor in your life? Is there anything that you've not let go in life? Not letting go of certain things that have occurred in the past will cause some reaction in your body. Is it because of that? So take care of that. And yoga is always brilliant. It's excellent for your spine. So spinal health is one of the secrets to anti-aging. since there are so many women, right? So maintain the flexibility of your spinal cord. By doing so, there will be a lot of benefits.
Okay. The next question, is the benefit of using the non-dominant hand proven scientifically? If yes, can you share the source?
Yes, it has been proven. I'll find out and I'll email it to Bijal. I don't have it offhand like that, but definitely it does create different pathways. It creates more of the synapses connecting with the different neurons connecting. Yeah.
Okay. Now they also wants to know whether you get more patients for gynecology or for psychology.
All right. So I never practiced gynac. I did 7 to 8 months of MD gynac, after which I got into modeling and acting. And so I never practiced gynac, or I never really practiced medicine per se. Psychology is something that I took up 4 or 5 years back, and that I have a clinic where I consult with clients. Of course, now it's all on Zoom. So I do all my consult, but so it's psychology pretty much. It's wellness, it's psychology and those things, yes.
Our next question is from Toastmaster Sukumar Swaminathan. Does food alter thoughts? How much and how? Dr. Aditi, it will be great if you can throw some light.
Sure. So it has a very deep connection to your mind. Now think about a heavy lunch, where there is fried papad and butter naan, and let's take Punjabi food, right? Butter chicken and chana and puri. You've had a nice hefty meal. How do you feel after that? Then I said, come on, let's go for this adventure trip. You all will be like, are you crazy? We want to nap. I want to sleep after this. Lethargic, right? You feel lethargic after a heavy meal, right? Now, it has also been found, and I'm not sure when I had read about this research, but it's also been found that people who converted from non-vegetarians to vegetarians, they start feeling lighter. Now, I'm not sure about this, so I'm not saying that there is a research or whatever, but that's a general consensus that I have heard from people who've switched, right? Now, having a salad or having a soup and a salad, a light lunch, you're active. Your stomach is full, you're happy, you can do a lot of work after that. So yes, food is very, very deeply connected with your thoughts and how you feel.
We have lots of questions coming in. So next question, I'll just read on fast.
Sure.
Do vegans have better health than non-veg?
Well, the thing with vegans is that there is a lot of they do have to pay attention to a lot of vitamins which are not part of veganism, right? Because you have to have a complete meal. So if you're taking supplements, then vegan is good, but how much can you sustain on it? It's a healthy way of living. Of course, it is very, very healthy to be vegan, but certain vitamins you have to then supplement because it might not be enough. It might not be adequate. And I'm not a nutritionist, frankly, so I only read about it because it's of interest to me. And that's perhaps the next degree which I will do.
Inshallah. Next question is from Amrita Raikar. Dr. Aditi, what do you suggest for overall well-being? Meditation, Vipassana, or yoga?
Well, it is a combination of all. I am a Vipassana proponent. I've been doing Vipassana for last 12 years. But the thing is that you got to choose. You got to decide what makes you feel good. I do yoga regularly, but that's more of the physical, like the asanas and all that, and pranayams being part of it. But meditation is very different from yoga, right? It is meditative in that sense, but it's not pure meditation because you're concentrating on achieving the right asanas and body parts and so on and so forth. So go ahead and try different varieties. You can do art of living, you can do inner engineering. There are so many that are out there. And I don't say that, oh, because I do Vipassana, that's the best. What I say is go ahead and try it, see what suits you. I tried everything. I even did transcendental meditation and all that. What suited me was Vipassana, and that's what I stick to now. And once you find it, then don't go window shopping, then just stick to what works for you.
Now from Toastmaster Sana Fatima, any way for an immediate remedy from depressed thoughts?
If you're aware, change it. The only way you will do it, see, because your mind cannot have a depressive thought and a happy thought, right? So take action, do something which will put you in a better mood. So even if it is watching a funny series, right? You know that, okay, this is because what happens is depressive thought comes to your mind, and then you go into this downward spiral, and suddenly you notice, oh my God, 2 hours I've been thinking of this depressive thought, right? So time just flies. So instead of that, the minute you realize that, okay, this is a negative thought, it's called I call it ant attack, automatic negative thoughts. The minute I realize, I say to myself, okay, ant attack, I need to take action. So I take action. So it could be a cute baby video, it could be a cute puppy or kitten or whatever video, or it could be calling up my best friend, chatting with her. So anything that gives me joy, I immediately take action.
Now, one last question. Aditi, you are inspiring. You have done gynec, you have acting, modeling. Is there anything left in your bucket list to accomplish? You are an all-rounder beauty with brains. From Toastmaster Tabsum.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. But frankly, I don't know why it is, and I'm being very, very truthful about this, is I feel that I've still not achieved what I have come on this planet for. So I really want to do so much more. And like I said, that maybe nutrition is the next degree that I will enroll for once I finish Harvard. So all that is gone. All that is past. I mean, where is all that, right? It's finished. Today, what am I doing? And what is my plan for tomorrow? That's what my focus always is. How can I change people? How can I help people get out of whatever they are suffering? So that is my passion now.
We are having so many questions, but because we are running out of time, we'll have to stop the session here. But anyway, all the questions which they have forwarded, you can contact her through her social media pages, and she can reply for that. Thank you so very much, Dr. Aditi, for such a wonderful session, a holistic session to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll share my email ID for people who want to get in touch with me for the 21-day transformation program. My team will get in touch with whenever we are launching the. So 2 programs are over. The 3rd one I'm about to launch. So I'll definitely then respond.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so very much, Dr. Aditi. Thank you. Now let's move on. We have another dignitary here. We have another dignitary here. He joined Toastmasters 18 years back. He's a member of Adhari Toastmasters Club. He has served many leadership roles in club, area, division, and district. He's serving us as the district leader for the last few years as logistics manager, club growth director, program quality director, and currently district 20 director. Let's welcome DTM Mohammed Salim for his address. DTM Salim, DTM Mohammed Salim.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Farida. First of all, let me acknowledge the presence of our club growth director, DTM Khalid Abdullah, and I don't see our program quality director here, DTM Adifia Lakadawala, but we see our. Apart from that, we have area director, Toastmaster Faridabai Tanzir, the senior most member Toastmaster Parimla Pradeep. We have DTM Roslyn Roy. We have, let me just scroll through. We have many other members, but let me acknowledge the presence of our Angels Toastmaster President, Toastmaster Bijal, who's been following up with me for quite a long time. And we have one person, I don't know whether she is in Canada or Oman. Paddy, how are you, man? Nice to see you. Great. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. So this has been a wonderful setup. Actually, I see most of the ladies here, actually very few men here. And I'm sure this is all because of the celebrities here who are going to talk on aspect. Actually, I became a great fan of Dr. Aditi now. I will be enrolling in 21-day program for sure. So this is something which is really taking different shape. Now, talking about the Angels, actually, Angels Toastmasters have always been on forefront in conducting events. Actually, yesterday we had one wellness event, and today we have another wellness event. I think this is somewhere I need to put up my goals for the next 21 days, or say next, because why 21 days is, they say 21 days, when you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit actually. Once you have becomes a habit, you can't let go, because I have enrolled several times in the gym, and I go for 3 days and 4 days and I don't continue. That is what it is said, that if you do anything for 21 days with determination, then it becomes your habit actually. You cannot, let go of this. You will be continuing throughout your life. This maintaining this for 21 days is the biggest challenge for anyone actually. Be it food, be it exercise, be it anything for that matter. Being for 21 days is a very crucial thing. That is the reason they choose this 21 days. Now, I'm very big fan of Angels for doing such wonderful events actually, because whenever I have an event, I always go back to Angels and tell them I need the support. And this is where Angels are much different from other Toastmasters club. And this time they brought in very elegant personalities actually. Dr. Kamala Selvaraj, she's a very famous gynecologist in Chennai actually, and one of my classmates. He's been a junior to her. I have not heard much from Dr. Sapna. Mike, again, we know the world champion, and Dr. Aditi, she proved it actually. She's totally different with what it is actually. She has proved that she can, make things much better actually. With what I've heard, really made a huge difference. With Toastmaster Paddy, she's always there for to support any activities in the Middle East. She's been a great supporter. So I would like to thank all the members for taking this wonderful program, and I'm sure this is going to be eye-opener. My only little bit, disappointment here is that I see very few participants. This could, for such a celebrity event, I expected more participants to be there. Nevertheless, we will have similar events in the future. I'm sure this is going to be a big event in future also. We'll have the same speakers in future, and it is going to be a big event in future also. So all the best to Angels for making this program. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, DTA Mohammed Salim, for your support and encouragement. Our next keynote speaker is a TEDx speaker, an international counselor, life coach, motivational speaker, counseling skills trainer, and an author. By qualification, she is an eye surgeon. However, after running her hospital for 10 years, she decided to take up full-time counseling in order to guide people in pain and confusion. Since then, she has acquired more than 10 qualifications in counseling, psychotherapy, training, journalism, human resources, and industrial relations from various countries. She has been decorated with the prestigious Shiromani Samupadeshak or the GEM Counselor Award, Successful Woman in Management Award, and the Counselor of the Decade Award for pioneering and popularizing counseling in Central India. Dr. Sapna has been the Miss India finalist in the year 1992 and has been crowned Mrs. India World in 2004. Her first book, titled Spiritual Parenting, is already in second edition and has been receiving strong approval and accolades from around the world. Her recently launched second book, For the Love of Me, is making waves already. Dr. Sapna is a renowned expert on relationship, parenting, personal growth, career management, and spiritual-based life management. Audience, you can forward your question directly to the Zoom meeting host. Now let's welcome Dr. Sapna Sharma with the speech titled Relationship and Emotions Management. The floor is yours, Dr. Sharma.
Good evening all, and I hope you can hear me clearly. Am I audible well? Hello?
Yes, you are.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. Very good evening to all of you. And I don't know if Aditi is still here or she logged out, but I would like to say thanks to her. I just logged in the last few minutes of her speech and I got that very interesting tip of checking where my tongue is. And I tried that trick and it really worked. So yeah, if you're hearing, thank you very much, Aditi, for that. Relationships, yeah, we need to talk about relationships today. What makes relationships so interesting? So after thinking for many years, this is what I have, the conclusion that I have is why relationships are so interesting is because they are always responsible for the maximum pain in our life, and they are always responsible for the maximum pleasure in our life. Same source, can get us the maximum pain and maximum pleasure. And so relationships, they always keep us on our toes, various kinds of relationship with our parents, with our friends, with our siblings, with, of course, spouse and the lover, with our colleagues or bosses, the society in general. And I want you to think about it. Each of these relationship would have given you some pain, sometimes caused you, not given you, and definitely would have caused you some pleasure, some happiness at some time or the other. And so this whole thing about relationships. I thought that let us talk about relationships and emotions together rather than talking about them separately, because most of our emotions are the emotional drama which is happening in our life is related to relationships, some relationship or the other. And trust me, if it is not any other relationship, it's the relationship we carry with our own self. If it's not with anyone else, if it's not with anything else, it's the relationship that we have with ourselves. So in all, it's always going to be a relationship that's causing all the emotional drama that's happening in our life. So let's combine the two topics and try to understand this, what happens here. So basically, when we talk about emotions, what we have done is we have divided them into good emotions and bad emotions, happiness, pleasure, excitement, enthusiasm, good emotions, pain, sadness, depression, bad emotions. And the moment we say something is good and something is bad, the biggest thing which happens is when we experience even an ounce of the so-called bad emotion, we are dragged into the feeling of that, no, this is not good. Something that's happening with me is not good. That's the kind of feeling that we carry within ourselves. So to begin with, I would like to give you a concept today that it's all about, they're all emotions. There's nothing positive or negative about them. They're all emotions. And we, being human beings, we experience all of them in different cycles. I don't think it would be a very good idea to be happy all the time. And just imagine, just think about it. Elated, excited, happy all the time. That appears kind of psychotic. So it won't be a very good idea. And for that reason, we keep on going through the roller coaster. And the roller coaster is something, that makes the life very, very interesting. A relationship which is like always good would practically be a very monotonous relationship. Any relationship, if you think, if there is no arguments and no heated discussions and no fights, like little fights, the life will be one flat line, and one flat line in ECG means dead. There's nothing alive about it. Okay, one flat line is practically dead. So it has to have its up and it has to have it down also, and that's what makes it a beautiful ECG. That's what you would love. And that's what life is all about. All the ups and downs and everything. But we make things like, this is negative. This is what I don't want. And this is positive. And this is what I want all the time. The craving for something and aversion for something. I don't know if you have ever tried this, but the day you are sad, you're feeling sad, rather than you're sad, you're feeling sad. Just if sitting somewhere and thinking that, okay, I'm sad today. Period. Nothing after that, nothing before that. That would stop so much of heartache to us. But the problem is, the moment I feel I'm sad, I launch into a thought process which said, oh, why I am sad. Then if why I am sad, and there has to be someone to blame. So then it starts with, okay, he did this, she did this, he did not do that, she was supposed to do this. So then we now start projecting our feeling onto someone else. I am not saying that someone else has not caused anything, but trust me, someone else has definitely not caused that emotion in you. That they have not done. They've done something. But the emotion which is there, which is purely yours, it's not theirs. But then we love to do it. Sadness, oh, sadness, not good. Where does it come from? Let me find a culprit. XYZ is the culprit. And then when I find a culprit, I suddenly start thinking, this is not good, this should not be happening with me, how can he do that to me, this is not the way he should be talking to me. Then again XYZ is added to that, and again ABC is added to that. And before we realize, what perhaps started with feeling a little sadness is boom into something making me feel my life is useless. You know, I'm the most troubled person in the world, and perhaps no one loves me, etc., etc. Emotions are there. You know, they're there all the time. It's just like if it's a dark room, it doesn't mean that you know, darkness. It's darkness. How does it go away? When you when you light a candle in that room, the darkness goes away. It doesn't go away anywhere. It's just there. It is there very much. It's not anywhere going anywhere. It's just that there is a light also which is lighted up. So we have all those emotions inside us. Everything negative, positive, whatever you call it, we have all of it inside us. The only problem is that we believe that this is something which comes from somewhere outside. And that's what we are carrying in. And then if it's coming from someone outside, that means someone has to give it to me, right? I won't bring it myself. So let me find someone to blame now. Fantastic. That feels great. Relationships and emotions. So that's how it is connected. You know? Very few people I have met who would say, you know, I'm really happy by myself. I'm very happy by myself. Because most of the time we are looking for someone to make us happy. Now that's another very, very interesting thing. We have no clue, most of us have no clue of what's going to make me happy. Okay? I have no clue because I practically have not explored my relationship with myself. So I have no clue what going to make me happy. But then I get into relationships and I expect all the people in relationship with me to be responsible for my happiness. So when I say like this, you will say that, no, it's not like that for me. But let me put it the other way around. The moment someone else does something, I become unhappy. So for me to be happy, that person has to behave in a certain way. That might be my parent, my children, my husband, my wife, my anyone. They have to behave in a certain way for my happiness. So what is happening here is that I do not really know how to be happy on my own. To give it a thought, because it's why it will be difficult for me to accept what I am saying, is because I am taking away the blame game from you. That's very sad. It feels very nice. It's a very nice feeling to, you know, take out one finger, point out 1, 2, 3. They're responsible. And I am the poor little fellow. That feeling, trust me, is a very nice one. I'm the poor little persecuted fellow everyone does wrong to me. It's a nice feeling. But the moment I give you a new thought, I'm actually taking away that feeling of self-pity from you. And no, we don't like it. We don't like that feeling of self-pity being taken away from us. I've seen, you know, that some people are able to overcome the issues that they are going through and feel happy most of the time. Some people. Most of the time other people are complaining. We're always complaining about a lot of things, It feels good. It's just that. Let us accept it's a paradox. It's a paradox. But to keep on complaining and to feel that everyone is doing wrong to me is a nice feeling. That's what psychology is. It's all complicated. Okay. And that's why relationships, when we talk about relationships, you know, the first and foremost that all of us have to think that forget about thinking what's your relationship with your husband, with your child, with your wife, with anyone XYZ. Forget about it for a minute. Just give one thought to it. And the question here is that what is your relationship with yourself? And so when I say that, the next question is, when was the last time that you actually sat down with yourself to explore what you are, who you are, what you like? When was the last time? And don't tell me it was this afternoon or last evening, because whatever this afternoon or last evening was, you definitely had your WhatsApp with you. You definitely had the Instagram to scroll up and down. So no, you're not sitting alone with yourself. We don't do that. It's a very, very uncomfortable feeling. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. We don't do that. You know, we like to be always in relationship with someone, but we don't like to be in relationship with ourselves. So I do this exercise, you know, often in my sessions, I ask people, a couple of them, to just come up and describe, tell us about themselves. And it goes like this. Hi, my name is so-and-so. And according to the age, it will either say I'm studying this, or they will say that, you know, this is where I'm working and this is my position and this is where I live. And maybe one little, if they have some very big accomplishment, then they will mention that I was a state level badminton player, or I am, etc. And then after that, they just start looking here and there. And then I encourage them. I said, you still have time. You still have to go on and tell us more about yourself. And then they will think and they'll start with, okay, so I'm married and my husband is into this profession and I have 2 children and they are doing this. And then I ask them that, excuse me, I'm talking about you. I don't want to know about your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, your etc., etc., etc. And that's when there's like awkward silence. Great. No problem. Then I said, okay, forget about all of this. Can you think of one very interesting person in your life? That can be someone you like, someone you hate, anyone, an interesting person in your life. And just introduce the audience to them. You know, they don't know you, so you can just introduce them. And trust me, once they start, I have to literally stop them. Your time is over, please stop. But then they will use all sorts of adjectives and descriptions for them. You know, they like this thing very much. And he's sometimes so crazy and he's sometimes so lost. And I don't know what he does in his daytime, but I really like this about him. And that's the thing, you know. All of you, try it. Just give yourself 1 minute after this session, whenever you go home in the night. I mean, when you are at home, but whenever you're done with this, just give yourself 1 minute each to describe yourself and to describe someone else. Anyone, it can be your mother-in-law also. Try it, you will have more adjectives there than anyone else, than any other description. But try it. Because, okay, the reason is right from the childhood, we have never ever been encouraged to spend time with ourselves. Just think about it. As children, we are expected to be busy. We are expected to be occupied. And that's what we do with our own children also. You know, this class, this class, this class, this class. If nothing, then do this, then do this, then do this. We are expected to do that. Not only that, we do not even encourage children or anyone to talk about themselves. It's supposed to be rude. When you talk about yourself, it's labeled as rude and what you say, selfish, self-centered, which are all, I don't know why, negative words. I don't know what's wrong in being selfish. Why selfish is a wrong negative word, I don't know. But when we are bombarded with those kinds of things in the childhood, we actually shy away from thinking about ourselves. And that's when all the relationship issues start in our life. Because if I don't know who I am, there is no way I'm going to truly love myself and respect myself. Trust me. I may say to people that, no, I love myself very much, but it doesn't have, how can I love something and someone whom I don't even know properly? So unless I know myself, I cannot love myself or respect myself. And friends, if I don't love and respect myself, do you really think I can do genuinely to someone else? It's not humanly possible. Because I'm going to be projecting my complexes, my whatever XYZ onto others all the time. That's where we ruin our relationships. And that's where we try to see how many fingers can I take out and point out to people. That makes my life easier because then I don't have to take my own responsibility. It's a nice thing, you take my responsibility. I don't want to take my responsibility. It's a nice thing. So the moment I start thinking that maybe I am the one who's responsible for a lot of my unhappiness, my problem is that then I'll have to be taking responsibility. And I don't want that. So when I'm in counseling sessions, and people come with different issues in their life, and basically I see that they're unhappy about so many things. And then they will be talking about things for a very, very long time, sometimes 2 sessions, when they describe how sad they are and etc. And then at the end of it, I ask them, okay, what do you want? I think it's a very, very simple question. I ask them, okay, what do you want? And invariably, they also start with that. They start with another round of complaining. If only my husband would do this, if only my wife would do this, if only my mother-in-law will not do this, and my children would behave like that. And then after listening to all of them, I ask that, okay, I understand, but what do you want? Friends, this is another question I'm giving you for this night. What do you really want? Think about it. Till the time by the end you do not come to a conclusion, I really want to be happy and peaceful. Till that time, keep on thinking that, what do you really want? So now someone who's constantly saying that, I want this person to change, this person to change, this person to say change. Then I ask them, okay, suppose they don't want to change, then what? Okay. Very happy torturing you, and they really enjoy that thrill. So they don't want to change. So if they don't want to change, then what do you want? Unfortunately, at that point, even at that point, what I hear is, okay, so then my life is spoiled. I can't do anything for it. My question is, what are you doing for your own happiness? And if you are not doing anything for your own happiness, what right have you got to say that everyone in the world should change for your own happiness? By the way, trust me, even if all of them change, you're not going to find your happiness, because they are not the reason anyway. So it's not happening. But that's what we like. That's what we actually like. It's a paradox. Being in an unhappiness and blaming others is something I might like more than actually taking up my own responsibility. The small little things that you used to do when you were kids. Small little things, maybe some of you like to paint, and some of you like to make him do the embroidery thing, or knit, or maybe, make beautiful dolls, or anything XYZ that really made you happy. I don't know. Can you remember who told you that once you're grown up, you can't do that? Dare you touch any of those things? I don't know. Just try to think who told you that. Just try to think. No one has told you that. Okay? No one has told us anything, except for maybe some very, 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 very sad situation when you have really torturing in-laws, physically torturing. Right? I don't expect them to be Toastmaster members, such kind of people. So let's leave it out of it. But so now when you look at it, who asked us to stop those things that make us happy? We just dropped them somewhere on the way. And then now we find every excuse to blame others for it. Even if I point it out, okay, great, you like doing this, start doing your painting stuff. And then you will it's easier for her to say. She should come to my house and see. Morning I have to do this for him, and this for her, and then this for her, and this for her. And it's easier for her to say. Actually I've heard people saying that in my seminars and programs, because they actually believe that, I'm some kind of I don't know, come from some other world where I don't have to clean my toilet every day or something like that. People get a feeling like that. But then again, it's a nice feeling to say, you look like a perfect person, and it's nice for me to say, usko kya hai? I mean, she's got no problem. She's got such supportive family, and she's got such support in her life. So it's easier for her to say. Again, what I'm doing is poor me. Again, I'm playing the same card because it's easier. It's easier. Okay. But then I see that, okay, so tell me your 24 hours routine. If you're so swamped with everything, tell me of your 24 hours routine. So this is another challenge which I am giving to you. Tomorrow, just keep on jotting down what you do every 5 minutes or every half an hour. What did you do in the last half an hour? Please do it. Please, 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 please do it. It's a very interesting exercise. Just every half an hour, write down what did you do in the last half an hour. And the answers would be amazing. There would be so many I was scrolling down WhatsApp. I was just scrolling up Instagram. There'll be so many, not minutes, hours going on like that. I was just scrolling the TV channels from 1 to 100 and back from 100 to 1 because practically there's never anything out there. So think about it. When we think about that my life is not good, that I have issues, that people are creating problems in my life. I'm sure it's possibility that you have difficult people in your life. But trust me, in spite of difficult people and difficult situation, you can still be happy. Why I can say that? Because I have gone through everything possible that you can think of. I've been a single parent for the last 10 years. And I have been in situations where at a time I had lost my, I was out of the marriage. My husband had taken my kids also, I'm a mother and without kids. And at the same time, my partners threw me out of my own business. And then I suddenly realized that all these years of income and all, I've been handing it over to my husband. So I don't have a place to live. So I've been to that absolute rock bottom also. And the solution, and after that also, life has not been easy. I mean, just one single statement, single parent of 2 girls, takes care of everything, what you can go through every single day. But I can still be happy. I am, and in spite of all of that, I can still be happy. I didn't have this earlier, but it's only after I got this whole thing about, boss, this is going to happen. This is what is life. It's not, I can't wait for happiness. So one fine morning, it's going to be like, wow, happiness. No, it's not happening. This will keep on happening. The wonderful thing about life is it is not sequential. This will happen, then this will happen, and this will happen. It's all parallel. It's always parallel. So can I find my happiness in this? One of the, it's my choice. It's very much my choice. And so if you want to find your happiness, now the question is that, do you really want to be happy? The question which I ask is, what do you really want? Do I really want to be happy in spite of whatever is happening in the relationship, whatever happening is in your life? If you really want to be happy, the first step is decide I want to be happy. That's what you need to begin with. And then if you are not able to understand how to reach there, like I suggest people, please get in touch with a counselor. Why do you need a counselor? Is because anyone who's related to you in any way, 99% possibilities that they will be biased for some reason or the other. Okay, so it is difficult to get the real. And then if a friend says that, if just imagine the situation, you're ranting out and you're crying and you're screaming, and the friend says, oh, nothing happens, don't worry. How do you feel after that? You just get more angry with her. She doesn't understand my situation. So that's why it's not a very good idea to talk to someone that you know, unless you have someone who's like really can be a counselor like with you. But the beauty of this time is you can get in counselors from anywhere around the world of your choice. Talk to them. They are trained to be not biased, to be not judgmental. And why do we need someone else's? Because when I'm standing here, whatever I do, I cannot see everything around me. But if someone is looking from here, that person can see all 360 degrees and can help me see 360 degrees. And then suddenly I start seeing, boss, I was facing on the wrong side, this side, or light is coming. Light is coming, I was just facing the other side because I was not able to see it. So emotions it's mine. I mean, I love my emotions, and when I love my emotions, now these days, what I've started doing is, those few days, I'll just call my girls and tell them, okay, today is a crying day. Stay out of my room for 2 hours. I'll call you after I'm done. And yeah, what's wrong? I mean, I feel the best thing about being a woman is I can cry anytime. It's a wonderful thing. And I enjoy it. So why not enjoy it? Cry, but don't attach meaning to it. My life is so sad and this and that. Just cry because you're feeling like crying. And when you do that, when you can talk to your children about it, they will also learn to, manage their emotions, to look at their emotions as they are. It's okay to cry. It's like as okay to laugh. It's as okay to cry. They are emotions. Love all of your emotions, embrace them, feel good about them, and feel good that because I am an emotional person, I think I'm complete. Devoid of emotions, I don't think I would be whom I am. So it's beautiful. Relationships are always going to be giving us some excuses to explore our own emotions. So if you want to explore your emotions, explore your relationships. If you want to explore your relationship with others, explore your relationship with yourself. With that, Wish you all the best and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr.
Questions?
Sharma, to make us understand that we really have to understand ourselves better and we need to have a good relationship with ourselves. And we definitely are going to think about what we really want to do with ourselves tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll now move on to the question and answer session. Okay, the first question we have is, how do we understand what is going on inside in children between 18 to 20 years of age?
Don't try. Don't try. Don't try. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And so if you try to probe too much, they don't like. And trust me, even if you try to give them space, even they won't like even that too. So they have a whole lot of difficulty in processing because they are bombarded with information, too much information, you know. Like, so I am a particular kind of a mom. My type is, I am not the coddling type all the time. Oh, my sweetheart, what happened to you? I'm not that kind of a mother. Okay. But I think I have given a lot of space to my children, and my children can, so I have two daughters, 23 and 18, and they can talk about everything right from sex to whatever they want to talk about with me. So I'm that kind of a mother. So I have some good things, some things which they may not want. So they have this complaint, you know, why do you always have to be counselor like? Why can't you be like mother, like you know, other people's mother? So it's very difficult to understand them. But all in all, I would just say, you know, go and ask them. So what I do is now I ask them, if I see that there's something not good with them, I'll just go and ask them, do you want to talk? Okay. So if they're in mood, they'll say that, yeah, okay. Otherwise, they'll say, no, I'm good. And so if they're good, then they're good. That means they want to process it themselves, and there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have, see, everyone doesn't have to be happy all the time. That's what I was telling. They can be sad. Why not? You know, it's perfectly all right. So just be there. They should know that you are available and you would be interested in talking and knowing with them. And secondly, try to be less judgmental, because that's what puts kids off. Whatever were your thoughts and the way you were brought up, they're nothing like that. Okay, this generation, especially me and my mother, there wasn't so much of a difference in the understanding and way of life. But me and my child, it's like a whole lot of. And I have two daughters, 5 years apart. But the elder one and the younger one also, there's a whole lot of a difference about how they process things and how they look at things. It's a whole lot of a different world out there. So don't push them, and don't blame yourself also if you are not cheering your children all the time. Let them be. Just let them know that you are there and let them be.
Okay. So the next question is, how do you manage emotions hearing others' problems all day? Like, how can you not let the screen, social media, and how can you not let it affect you?
Okay, so I don't watch news. I have not touched a newspaper at least last 10 years. So, and nothing has changed in my life. I mean, I'm blissfully happy because I don't know anything. I don't know most of the things. So anything major which is happening, which, you know, appears in one or two of my WhatsApp messages or groups, I then go on the net and check it what's happening. So, and then I watch comedy movies, and I love to watch them. If you really want to learn about emotions and relationship management, since we are there, let me just recommend, there is this a series called as Modern Family on Hotstar. Please watch it. It will give you all hues and colors of relationships and emotions, and even how to manage all kinds of relationships. As far as my counseling goes, I think my meditations over the years has helped me really to detach. So the whole thing is about loving detachment. You know, I'm present, I'm interested, but emotionally I am detached. So that is, I think, the practice. And of course, I cannot thank the Almighty enough, because now I am such a kind of a person that once I have done my session, I forget about that person. Also, I never take down any notes during my counseling. It's just that when they come and sit in front of me next time, I remember everything. So that definitely has to be a blessing. It's nothing else. But loving detachment can be practiced. This is about the clients, but then I have kids. And they keep on going through ups and downs, and we have lots of issues, and they have lots of issues. But I have seen that loving detachment has helped me over the years, even to parent them properly. Because this today, the problem is this whole confusion about the word love that parents have for children, which is responsible for practically spoiling them, making them narcissists, and all the things that we are seeing in this generation children. Loving detachment has helped me, and that is something that can be practiced. Maybe some other session, some other time, we can discuss about that.
Okay. The next question is from Gurleen. She asks how to positively deal with competition-seeking, attention-seeking children among young kids under the age of 10.
We need to understand where that competitive thing is coming from. Because invariably it is one of the parents, or at least someone in the environment, which we don't realize, which they get it. School is of course another place, and it depends upon the personality of the child. Not all children get affected by whether they're scoring A or C on the card, but some children do get affected. I always feel that we should help the children to compete with themselves. If we can plant that seed in their mind that, you have to become better than yourself with every passing day. If you can do that, you are going to be one day the best that you can be. You cannot become better than others because there are like millions of people on this earth, and someone is going to have something better than you. But if you scored 50% today and you scored 55 tomorrow, that you certainly become a better person. So that concept can help those children.
Okay. Okay, our next question is, after completing quarantine with COVID positive, there is a phase when people feel extremely depressed. How can they help themselves to come out of it?
See, today what has happened is there is this very confusing phenomena of fear, and which is, this phenomena is dominated by fear. And people don't know, because the whole thing about COVID is it's too ambiguous. Nothing is really known about it. And some people who are sitting inside their house are also getting infected by some little encounter with someone. And then there are people who are just moving out and they're still not getting anything. Some people just drop dead just like that. And some people just go to the hospital, get admitted, still come out well. So this fear, this ambiguity is creating a lot of confusion. But the bigger problem is, because of this unknown fear, we have restricted our lives, which is causing the depression. Unless, of course, in some cases there are real issues like, they have lost job and other things. So I don't want to deal with that right now here. But otherwise, this is the reason for what is happening is everyone is saying that just go out for the essentials. Okay. Now examine that statement. What do you include in that essentials? Unfortunately, we have just included the grocery and the job in the essentials. Nothing else is included in the essentials. People just think of it, we are human beings and we are called as social animals. Socializing is our essential need. We cannot just live in our own head all the time. We really need to be with other people. And that's what we need to start exploring, that how and what we can do to socialize in a, let's say, more safe environment. For example, maintaining social distance. You can sit 6 feet apart, 5 of you, 6 feet apart, and you can still laugh your heart out and you just feel that depression is going to go away. It just feels alive. So what I have done is, in my house, I have finally told my girls that now everyone is to their own. Okay. So you have to take care of yourself. Number one. Number two, you can go out, try never to be without the mask. Okay. In fact, I have this thing that we prefer double mask. I mean, 2 surgical masks over one over the another, just to be on the safer side. But if you're partying with someone, that means you have to remove your mask because you're eating and drinking. Just be careful that when you are in the house, please wear your mask so that you don't give it to us. Even if you have brought it from someone, you don't give it to us. So for maintain that for about 8 to 10 days. So these are the working arrangements that we have made. And can we get infected? We can. Why not? I mean, we did not drop down from the heavens, so we can also get it. But the thing is, everyone is going to get it. This question is when, because this is not going anywhere. It's staying here. So we have to find this new normal way of living, like living, not existing and surviving. So children below 10 years of age and elderly below, above 60 years of age, diabetics and overweight. These are all the high risk categories. If you don't fall in this category, then eat healthy, have your vitamin C and zinc every day without fail, exercise every day, take precautions and live. We need to live for not feeling depressed.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. We have actually run out of time right now, so I'll have to stop right now. Thanks a lot for joining us. It was wonderful listening and to hear all your thoughts. Thank you again.
Yeah, before going, get in touch with me if you have more questions. One is, I would quickly share here my WhatsApp messaging number only. That's just a WhatsApp messaging number, so that if you want, you can get in touch with me. Secondly, I am on all the social media. I have a YouTube channel where there are various topics which are there. And I have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, which all of these go by Dr. Sapna Sharma. So it's Dr. Sapna Sharma. If you type, you'll find me on the media. If you can get in touch with me, or you can do this. I do a lot of live videos on various topics, and if you subscribe to my page anywhere, you will get the intimation. So you're most welcome. But I'll be more than happy to answer your questions if you have any more questions. Just sending this WhatsApp number.
That will be really helpful. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Do share us the information, and we'll pass on the questions to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Such an informative session. Now it's time to introduce our last keynote speaker. She has been in the business of developing individuals for 49 years. Her entire professional career has been one of teacher, trainer, coach, and a mentor. She is the principal of her own international communication company, Kennedy Communication Studio. Her most recent article, The Most Important Thing, is published in Women on Success, a recent compilation of articles put together by Mr. Muhammad Isa. For the past 12 years, she has coached dozens of Toastmasters international leaders and is proud to say that more than half of the international committee and board of directors of Toastmasters International are or have been her clients. She has been coach to 3 international presidents of the global organization, with a 4th client, our now international president, Mr. Richard Peck. She has been a professional speaker since 1997 and has since spoken in more than 20 countries. She lives in Vancouver, Canada, and makes several trips a year to the GCC region, where she bases herself in Sohar, Oman. She is none other than Toastmaster Paddy Kennedy. Audience, you can kindly forward all your questions for Toastmaster Paddy directly to the host. So let me welcome Toastmaster Paddy Kennedy with speech title, A Woman with a Voice. A Woman with a Voice, Toastmaster Paddy Kennedy. Toastmaster Paddy, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Farida, for such a lovely introduction. And may I please have permission to share my screen? I want to say to you all that it is a very special occasion for me to be with you this evening and to share the stage with so many esteemed speakers. We have a world champion, a renowned doctor of women's health, 2 remarkable women who are not only beauty queens and actors and whatnot, but are extraordinarily accomplished in their field. It is a great joy and honor to be with you. To all of the dignitaries who are joining us this evening, to our Toastmasters and guests and dear friends from around the world, thank you so much for including me this evening. in all the work that I have done in my 49 years of coaching, leadership, communication, and voice work, my favorite work is to work with women in developing their voice. Quote Belinda Gates, a woman with a voice, that slide go, sorry, there we are. A woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman. But the search to find that voice can be and is remarkably difficult. To speak at a ladies' club is just wonderful for me this evening, and for the gentlemen who are still online, and thank you all of you who have waited patiently for this last speech. I'm glad too that men are joining us, because although this is a speech for and about women, we need our brothers. For women to speak up in today's world, it is more important than ever that we stand up, that we speak up, that we speak not only to be heard, but also to be seen. We can no longer defer to our male colleagues to take the lead. Gone are the days of women remaining silent when we feel the urge to speak. As Alison Shapiro says, our, meaning women's, leadership readiness is measured in part by our willingness to speak up. As the saying goes, women hold up half the sky. And yet, my dear sisters and our brothers, do you know that we are 100 years away from parity between men and women? This is nobody's fault. We could blame history, it doesn't matter. But it is up to we women to find our voice, to raise our voice, for the children 4 generations to come, for the little girls 4 generations away from us who are banking on us today to begin to find our courage and to develop our confidence and to stand up and speak up. And you know, paradoxically, when we speak up, we are seen. And when we choose to be silent, we are also invisible. When I work with people in voice, and especially with women in voice, I've coined this little phrase called the duality of voice. There are 2 components to our voice, not just as speakers, but as women who want to make the world more equitable and more fair. First of all, we must find what Melinda Gates talks about as being what is so frightening. We must find our inner or our authentic voice, who we really are. And then I want to share with you some of my experience as a radio journalist. The most magnificent voice instrument in the world, the human voice, our spoken voice. It's about what we have to say, and it's also about how we say it. So I want to take a look, first of all, as in voice, as in speak up. Why is it that so many women don't speak up? I'm going to show you some statistics in a moment from the United States that are just mind-boggling, how prone women are to sit in silence, even when we don't have something to say. And so we ask, well, why don't we speak up? Well, a big part of it, regardless of culture, you know, I have clients that come from over 90 countries in the world. It doesn't matter what your nationality, it doesn't matter what your background, what your culture, women are socialized to be quiet. There's an incredible book about Western women called Women in Power by a woman named Mary Beard. And she goes back in the history of Western women, back to Greek and Roman mythology. And she tells of stories, I believe it was Lucretia, who was raped. And when she told her husband that she had been raped, he cut out her tongue. And then when she created a weaving, because she wanted people to know her story, so she created a weaving, a tapestry, and upon that, he cut off her hands. It is within our history, particularly in the West, but these stories are in all of the cultures. Women have been socialized to be quiet. And if we want gender parity for the generations, 4 generations to come, for the little girls not yet born, for your great, great, great grandchildren, we need to address why women don't speak up. So this is from a wonderful book called The Confidence Code. It says that most women tend to talk less when we are outnumbered. We go into a meeting, we study the layout, we choose to sit at the back of the room. We often keep our thoughts, which we decide can't be all that impressive, to ourselves. And then we get cross when the male colleague next to us sounds smarter, saying the same thing that we would have said. Now, I know I'm not the only woman in this forum who has experienced this, who has been at a meeting and has wanted to say something and my mouth goes dry and I get too nervous and I let somebody else say it and they say exactly what it was that I wanted to say. You know, a Princeton study found that in some cases, women, when in the minority, speak 75% less than men. Is it because our words we think are that much less valuable? Or do we think that they're just invaluable, but we don't have the nerve to spit them out? For many, many reasons. From the Western culture, and I think from most of the cultures that we women represent here this evening, good girls don't speak up. Every woman I have worked with has been told, shh, shh, shh. Assertive women are considered aggressive. When a man is assertive, he's called a leader. When women speak assertively, we are called aggressive. Now, I don't know if in the Indian culture and the Arab culture, if you have that girls are everything nice, sugar and spice. But we are sweet, but we're so much more than that. There, in every culture I've worked in, there is an attitude, an age-old attitude that women should be seen and not heard. It's not that attractive to speak. We're to be pretty, to be lovely, to be beautiful. It's best you don't speak up. Many women don't speak up because of fear. Fear of further victimization. Do you know that the majority of women who have been sexually harassed or raped do not report their crime because they fear being further victimized? I have a client that I work with who was sexually harassed at work, and she went to her male boss. And her male boss told all the men in the company, and they all laugh at her, and now they sexually harass her constantly. She has no recourse except to quit her job. And why would she? She's very good at her job. We women, so often when we speak up, we're ridiculed. Oh, did you hear her? Who does she think she is? We fear retribution. We fear if we speak up that people will maybe try to get our jobs, that people will try to hurt us. And I'm very sad to say, my sisters, that most often this retribution does not come from the men. It comes from other women. We have to stop hurting and throwing each other under the bus. We must support each other, or women will remain in an unequal world for time immemorial. Women who speak up are often called names. Please forgive my French, but many women, when they speak up, are called bitch. It's not true. We're afraid that we won't be heard. I've given seminars where when the women start speaking, the men start talking out loud. And when I give the women a microphone, the men speak even louder. So after a while, we don't want to speak up. We're afraid we'll be misunderstood. Women have a circular way of thinking, generally speaking. We tend to see the whole picture. God was good when he was smart when he made women the mothers, because we see the entire picture. I love the way men think. They're very one step after the other. It's very important. But so many times, there she goes again, talking everything is connected to everything. Yes, we're afraid of feeling foolish. These are things, my dears, that we have to stand up and face, that we have to say, this is not acceptable anymore. We are Toastmasters. And we find our leadership through our voice. And it's up to every one of us on this call to lift up our voice and to speak from our heart of hearts. You know, Stephen Covey of the great highly effective habits, the 7 highly effective habits of whatever, you know that what I'm talking about. Stephen Covey's favorite habit is his 8th habit. That we must find our voices, and then we must inspire others to find theirs. This sounds like a Toastmasters call to action. But this is what I mean when I speak to women. Let us help each other break this socialization. Let us help each other break through these fears. Let us respect and support each other so that we can help women around the world to find their voices, because you all know that when women come together, what we can do is phenomenal. Yet I will repeat again, in my 49 years as a coach, there have been very few men who have gossiped about me or thrown me under the bus. It is almost always our sisters. And I want us to stop that. I want us to support each other. If you want your great, great, great granddaughters to live in a world where they are heard, it is up to us today to support each other, speak to each other, listen to each other, and not allow ourselves to be called nasty names or to be called bossy because we dare to assert ourselves. So how do we find our voice? Linda Gates is right. A woman with a voice is a beautiful thing, but it's a scary thing. And most of us, now you are Toastmasters, so many of you have gone through some kind of a process where you have found your voice through, right from the beginning, icebreaker speech and through all of the evaluations. But how do we find our authentic voice, our true inner voice, that voice from which we speak to the world? Well, many years ago, when I was living and working in New York City, I worked with a group of girls in Harlem. They were girls at risk, young girls from the ages of 10 to 16. And I was going to sort of loosely base their communication program on a Toastmasters kind of model. Of course, I should have known better, because most of them were African American with a few Hispanics. And as soon as I mentioned the word Toastmaster, up went this little tiny black hand that said, Miss Patty, we object to the word master. And I thought, well, knowing their history of slavery, of course they do. So I had to change that word. On the second class, one of the young girls, there were many young Muslim girls, and Amani, who became one of the poets extraordinaire of my lifetime. She came into the class and she had been beaten up by one of the boys at her school. She had been called because it was just after 9/11. And she had been called the daughter of bin Laden. And she had been teased and ridiculed and silenced over and over again. And I looked out the window of our classroom down the West Side Highway to where the World Trade Towers used to be. And if you can imagine, they were more visible after they were gone than they were when they were there. Because when they were there, we saw them all the time, they were nothing. But once they were gone, that space, that gap in the sky was a constant reminder of what had happened. And I had these beautiful young Muslim girls in the class. And I thought to myself, dear God, help me. I have to find a way for these young girls to go out into that mean old city and stand up and declare who they are to the world, declare what they hold to be true, beautiful, and good. And so I began this exercise where I gave them 5 minutes. And I said, okay, please complete this sentence. And I put the timer on for 5 minutes. These things I know to be true. And then they were just to write, stream of consciousness writing, no paragraphs, no editors. And then when the 5 minutes was up, I would tell them to put their pens and their papers down, and I would nod at them, and I would ask each one at a time, to stand up in front of each other and declare what they knew to be true. Because I know in life that when you come against something that you are afraid, whether it's speaking in public, whether it's speaking at that meeting, wherever it is, when we face fear, the only thing we can do is to stand up and declare loudly and clearly what we hold to be true. This is the only way to beat our fears. If you are afraid of beating down the socialization or any of those fears that I spoke about, you must know in your heart of hearts what you hold to be true, what you hold to be beautiful, and what you know to be good. Now, what this good is was the third class. And you won't believe, but I'm going to share, this is from a little tiny girl's pen. And I asked her to finish this sentence, because they all had to do it. And she said, good is the love that lets through the light. Good are children who teach those meant to be wise. Good is the imagination that populates your mind. Good is dreams that want to be heard. And good is poetry that expresses your soul. Let me just tell you that this little girl today is a young woman in her mid-20s who is one of the main speakers for the New York City Food Bank. And during this time of COVID, I've seen her on TV. I've read about her, and there she is, making such a difference in the world with her voice. And Amani, the one who I told you about who came beaten up, she called me a few years ago when I was in Vancouver on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. She said, Miss Patty, I just wanted to tell you, I recently had a baby boy. And when he grows up and can speak, the very first thing I'm going to teach him is to declare to the world he holds to be true, beautiful, and good. I want to challenge you, if you want to find out who you are, if you want to find out what you really think, if you want to find your authentic voice and your authentic self, take 5 minutes and answer these things I hold to be true. Just make a list, no paragraphs, no editors. I don't care about spelling, it doesn't matter. To me, beauty is, good is, because I promise you, I make everybody do this. You could be the C-suite of a great big company right here in the Middle East, all men, they do it. And they stand up and they declare to the world what they hold to be true, beautiful, and good. And through it all, people find who they are. They find their authentic voice. The second part of voice and the duality of voice, the human voice is the greatest instrument there is. It is also, my friends, the most difficult instrument to play. Now, we don't have time to go into exercises here in my little 20 minutes that I have, but I would encourage you, Google, look on YouTube, contact me, find a voice coach. Do you know that when you are at the front of the room speaking, the vibration of your voice, because everything in the world is vibration, color is vibration, atoms are vibrating, everything in the universe is vibration, including the sound of our voice. And do you know that when you stand at the front of the room, not only are you at the front of the room, but you are everywhere in that room. And do you know that the proper tone of voice and a bottom, not screaming into a microphone, but speaking softly so that the microphone can pick up that beautiful bass part of all of us have in our voice? Do you know that that vibration actually has the ability to go into our audience's minds, their brains, and create new synapses, new ways of thinking. One of the biggest mistakes I see of women when they speak in public is they get in front of the microphone and they yell and they scream. And it's horrible because nobody wants to listen. You want to, Do you know, in radio school, you're taught as soon as that microphone comes on, you soften your voice and you allow the microphone to do its job, which is to amplify your voice. Once you have understood that the voice is really about relaxing these little tiny vocal cords for breathing exercises. Great voice is when the right amount of breath hits the right amount of vocal cord. I'm going to give you my email at the end of this. I would encourage you, send me an email. I will send you a booklet that you can work on with voice. I will also be interested if any of you want to do the true, the beautiful, and the good, you could send me that. I would love to hear it. These are a few things that I really want you to remember. Going back to why we don't speak. Going back to why we have to conquer our fear and our socialization. Because blocked emotions are the fundamental obstacle of a free voice. When I'm at a meeting and I'm too nervous and I'm tense, you see what I'm doing now? I'm tightening my vocal cords and you can hear what's happened to my voice. The vocal cords get tight and the whole bottom end of my voice is gone and I'm screaming and I'm shouting and all of a sudden I'm not convincing you of anything except shut up. Shh, shh, no. Deal with your fears. We've had women speaking tonight about meditating, about breathing. Conquer your fears. We must support each other because we all have the same fears. Muddy thinking is the fundamental obstacle to clear articulation. So when you're in that meeting, whether it's in the boardroom or at a community meeting or a Toastmasters, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that. See, as soon as I do that, you've lost it. Believe in yourselves, my dear women. We all come to this. What's the first thing we do when we are born? We raise our voice. If we don't raise our voice, they bring every doctor, specialist, they're smacking us, they're sticking tubes in us. What are they doing? They're trying to get us to raise our voice so that they know that we are alive and we are well. It is our God-given right and responsibility to raise our voice. Holding back words or emotions causes tension in your throat and jaw. And that again is going to make the voice go like this, and all of a sudden nobody's going to want to hear. And you notice when I have my voice tight, my pausing and everything goes out. I can't convince you. I can't hold your hearts in my hands. If I'm all tense in here, if I don't believe in myself, finding your inner voice, speaking and discovering your own fears, knowing what you hold to be true, beautiful, and good will put you in good stead wherever you go in the world, no matter what situation you face, because you will know in your heart of hearts who you are. We speak up to be heard. We speak up to be understood. Dear women, we speak up to be seen. Why does all this matter? We use voice and language for what we call the three L's. We learn to speak up by lifting up our voices individually and collectively. We learn to lead from declaring and articulating what we know to be true, beautiful, and good. And we lift by speaking up. We lift each other up by speaking up and using language that creates and supports one another. And by using a voice that inspires. It's been my great joy and honor, and I want to thank you again for waiting to hear me speak this evening. Please take a little click of this slide. Please take my email address. I know some of you can connect with me through Facebook. I ask, please, for you to connect with me through email, because I can keep you all together and I can make sure that everybody gets what they have asked for. There is a booklet. Please contact me. It has some reading exercises. It has some articulation exercises. I'll send you whatever I can. Thank you so very much for taking the time.
That was a great session, Toastmaster Paddy. We have few questions which has come up. The first question is from Toastmaster Mike Carr. What are the top things men can do today to help the cause? What should male allies do and what should we not do?
You know, the main thing that women, as I say, from 90 countries, we feel that we are not listened to and that we are not heard. It goes back to that socialization and those fears that I was talking about earlier. We, men and women, we think differently. There's no way, thank God. I mean, if we all were thinking the same way, it would be horrible. And as I say, you know, if you look at the Chinese world of yin and yang, men are yang. They're born in the light. They're in the black and white circle. The men are white. They're born in the light. They're born to be leaders. It comes to them automatically. They have that little tiny black spot in the, you know, the circle I'm talking about, the yin and yang. Men have that little tiny feminine spot. That's where they can learn to listen to us and to feel with us. We don't want to change them. There's nothing wrong with them, but they could certainly take a moment and to listen to us. And following that yin and yang, you know, we're dark, we're intuitive. Men are logical, they use reason, we're intuitive. Everything is connected. It's how we are, but remember, all things come from darkness and light. That's why we give birth. All things come from the darkness of within and they move to the light. But women, we have that little white circle. And every time you stand up on the stage and every time you stand in front of a group of people, you are standing in that white. You are standing in the light. You are daring to develop enough of your masculinity that you can speak to the world. So men, please listen to us. What not to do? Don't go, shh. If you want to see me go from 0 to 900 in like a nanosecond, tell me to shh, and I'll go out of my mind. It's just, and I think most women I know feel that way. So I know we're a bit of a pain in the neck. I know, you know, my partner, Mohammed Shukri, when I work with him, he shows this cute little video of there's a woman with a nail in her forehead. And she's complaining about having a headache. And she's talking to her husband. And he's saying, well, honey, you have a nail in your forehead. Let me take it. There you go again, not listening to me. You're always trying to fix me. I don't need you to fix me. I just need you to hear that I have a headache. Yes, dear, but you have a headache because you have a nail in your forehead. I don't need you to fix me. I just need you to listen to me. So at the end of the skit, he finally gets it, and he quits trying to fix her, and he just listens to her, and he says, that must be awfully painful to have such a headache. And he's dying to say, because you have a nail in your head, but he doesn't, because now he knows. And then at the end, he goes to hug her, and his head hits the nail in her forehead, and she freaks out in pain. So that's one thing I think that men, God love all of you. You have to try to be patient with us and understand we don't need you to fix us. We need you to listen to us. Makes all the difference in the world.
Now, our next question. What if you know that standing up and speaking up would ruin the relationships you hold on to so dearly that it would affect your family life? What do you do? From Toastmaster Sana.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit blunt. If it is such that you cannot speak from your heart, is that really where you need to be? Now, I know certain cultures It's hard to get out. But there, you know, when I was my mom, I was brought up by a single mom. She used to say to us, it's not what you say, but how you say it. And my first day in radio broadcasting school, I walked in and it said on the blackboard, it's not what you say, but how you say it. Pardon me, I taught this to my girls in Harlem because they were all fighting with their mothers, they were fighting with each other. And I said, you know, you can have pretty much any discussion you need to have with your mom if you find the tone of voice and if you really think about the words. Now, I understand that I've been around on the planet for a long time now. And I understand that there are situations where you have to weigh it out. Maybe it's better just to hush myself. That's a different thing. To decide not to speak up is a different thing than being told. So maybe you want to take a long-term look at this. You may want to hire a coach, a life coach, a speaking coach, somebody who can help you. You may want to find a therapist, somebody who can help you, because I'm going to be blunt again. We are all born to make manifest the glory of God. We are not born to be silenced and to quiet and to cramp our heart and treat our heart of hearts as if it has no purpose. Every idea and thought that we have that comes from pure love of life and love of our family ought to be able to be said. There's a way. You don't say it all at once. I want to tell you very quickly about a client of mine that I have. I won't say where she's from. She lives in a very traditional Muslim marriage. She wanted to buy a new fridge. Her husband said, you can't buy a new fridge. Well, she was out shopping one day and she saw the fridge of her dreams and it was on sale and she bought the fridge. I'm training her in assertiveness, right? But we have to be very culturally aware. I can't just treat her to go in, you know, like a loudmouth Western woman. I'm aware we have to be appropriate to the culture. So she bought the fridge and she came home and her husband hit her. Oh, I see you're wearing the pants now. But now guess what? He really liked the fridge. She really took her time. She allowed him to have his emotions. So she told me in her class the other day, she said, well, you won't believe what I did now. I just bought a new couch, a new sofa. And he came home and said, hey, you're wearing the pants in the house, what are you doing? So she said, I just said to him, I think in time you will like the sofa. So she sort of spied on him. And there he is. Oh, he's enjoying time on the sofa. And then the next night he said, yes, sofa. And then one night he's kind of falling asleep, and so she comes in because she's clever. Oh, it seems that you really like the new sofa. So I'm not ever suggesting revolution, ever, whether it's Europe, whether I'm working with children, or whatever the situation is. But please remember, dear women, we have a really important job. I cannot bear the thought that 100 years from now, little girls will still be told, that women will speak up and they will be called names. I cannot bear this, because we are born to make manifest the greatness and beauty of God. That's our job. We must find a way. We must find a way to. But be smart, okay? Be smart.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Paddy. We are already overshooted time, so yeah, I would want to just finish this presentation. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much for such a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Paddy Kennedy, for your powerful thoughts on women empowerment. So here comes the end of such an informative and wonderful keynote speeches. Farida, I wish we could have continued it a bit longer.
True, Ramya. But as it said, all good things have an end. And so even this has to come to its end. But our celebrations are not over yet.
We always believed in what Osho said. Life should not only be lived, it should be celebrated.
Yes, let's make each new day a celebration. Before we end today's session, we have a very important session.
Yes, the vote of thanks. This collaboration is the hard work for days and nights of many. To express their gratitude, I would like to invite our Vice President Education. She is a senior pathologist at BDF. She loves gardening, believes in self motivation and mutual understanding for development and progress. She is the immediate past Area 16 director. I welcome Toastmaster Veena Nagaraj to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, both the lovely MCs. Good evening, distinguished guests and Toastmasters. Good evening, distinguished guests and Toastmasters. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable and historic occasion. First of all, let me start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making this occasion a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our keynote speaker, TM Mike Carr, world champion in public speaking 20, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion with words of intent all the way from Texas and stood throughout the session. Thank you, sir. I also express my deep sense of appreciation and heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kamala Selva for those lovely tips for women during this difficult time of COVID-19 all the way from India. Thank you very much, Doctor. I would like to take this opportunity to express our hearty thanks to Priti Gotrika for giving us that wellness session and lifting up psychologically. Thank you, madam. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Sapna Sharma for gently polishing our relationships and emotion management. Thank you very much, madam. It's my pleasure to thank with a deep sense of gratitude to TM Paddy for accepting our invitation and boosting all the women that even women have strong voice. I thank all the District 20 officials, immediate past Region 11 advisor, District Director, Quality Director, Club Growth Director, Division B Director, and Area 15 Director for accepting our invitation and addressing us. My thanks to the organizing committee members and all the role players for the unstinted and continued support. At the end, but most importantly, thank you all the past presidents, Angels ExCom members, and distinguished guests for your cooperation in making this function a resounding success. Again, thank you all for your attention. Thank you. Back to you, MC.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Veena. Now here it marks the end of today's session. Toastmaster Ramya, are you there?
Yeah, I'm muted, sorry. For more celebrations and fun, let's meet next week, 21st October, which marks the day for only celebrations.
Yes, I'm eagerly waiting for next week, where we will have the messages from our ex-presidents, all entertainment, fun by our own angels and their family members. Till then, myself, Toastmaster Farida.
And myself, Toastmaster Ramya, sign off and hand over control to our vibrant and energetic president, Toastmaster Bijal.
Thank you, our lovely MCs, Toastmaster Farida and Toastmaster Ramya. You did a wonderful job, and it was pleasure to have the 5 eminent speakers, Toastmaster Mike, Dr. Kamala, Dr. Aditi, Dr. Sapna, and Toastmaster Paddy Kennedy with us. It was a wonderful session, and I'm sure you all enjoyed and had a lot of information. I had a lot of learning lessons today, and I have a list of changes which I have to make in my life beginning from tomorrow. So till the time I start following it, I'm sure you also have a lot of learning tips and lessons learned from today's sessions. So give it up, 3 cheers for all angels to our 15th anniversary and 300th meeting. A big round of applause for all angels. And I am happy that Toastmaster Mike Carr was with us throughout from the beginning, and I hope he enjoyed the session.
Can we have a group photo?
Yes. Okay, first let me adjourn the meeting number 300. Can we switch to the gallery view?
Yes, everyone, please, please, yes.
Should be 3 fingers, 300.
Oh, DTM
Yeah, actually, I thought
Angel
that
Brothers.
only. Yes,
No,
yes.
we should do like how Toastmaster Mike is doing.
This is difficult.
Yeah.
No, his expression is like this.
Wait,
He's-
3 fingers, 3 fingers. Huh? I will.
He's a professional for that. We can't copy him.
Oh, good evening. Fine. I think you are not going tomorrow, no?
Yes.
Very good. One small question, only one thing I want to know.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I can stop the live stream, right?